It is Saturday, June 5th. I'm here yet again with Tyler, with Nate. Welcome to Couch Company.
And he's John.
I am
Hey,
John. It's assumed at this point. I mean, what are we at, 4?
Sure, 4.5.
How many does it take before things are assumed?
I don't think you
5.
ever assume.
Never assume?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be good at what you do, but
assuming, but
what do they say about assuming?
it makes an ass out of you and me.
Anyways,
You know what they say about talking into the mic rather than sitting back drinking a cold one.
that's true, but
You can also move the mic closer to you.
We-
That's what it is,
all right, should we restart?
yeah.
We can cut that out. We can cut it out.
I can edit. I'm not going to, but we can.
That's true. Okay. Welcome to Couch Company. Grab a seat, a beverage, maybe a snack, maybe some Oreos.
With nacho cheese?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with that. Oreos has been like experimenting with some fucking insane flavors.
A
It's just
podcast
insane.
I listened to, the one guy on it was swearing by Oreos and nacho cheese. It's not
Wait,
great.
no way.
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, I didn't want to taste it. It's not.
How many people watch
not
that one,
good.
by the way?
Quite a few.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That they're watching that over this. Because
Well, hey, we're officially on Apple Podcasts
I
now. So
know.
if you're actually listening to us from Apple, congratulations for finding us.
there you go.
There's another couch company. I don't know. It's a different language. It's not American. It's not English.
Yeah, we're the American Couch Company. Like the American Office.
Yeah, and we
Right,
officially
absolutely.
have 3.5 more episodes than that.
We're on the grind,
podcast.
man.
I'm not throwing shade at them. I mean, I'm
No,
sure
absolutely.
it's a wonderful podcast.
Respect them, but you got to be confident in your own ability and being the superior couch on the web. Anyways, so this is just
one quick thing. I don't know if you noticed this. So our like logo, like our podcast
couch, yeah.
thing. The couch.
It's a couch.
Super ratty, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the art guy in me. As we gain more popularity,
The couch improves.
it's going to get better,
Wow.
and it might even get like from not next to a dump. Like it
well,
might
yeah,
actually
I
go
mean,
inside a house.
Right now, we're the couch you throw
See, that would
away.
have been something cool that people figured out as like time went.
Okay, I'll cut that too. We'll just start this whole thing over. It's not a problem. Don't worry, I'm not going to. Keep going.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I was just gonna say we're the couch you throw away after you're done at college. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
We're
just never gonna be done.
it's graduation. There's couches on the.
I am so confident with our episodes that as I'm like naming these, I have like four numbers. It's a 4-digit thing.
Yeah.
So we can go up to 9,999.
Well, the fact that we're
Episodes.
at 4.
It's pretty good. We're
almost
almost there.
Knowing you, Tyler, that's remarkable.
Thank
that
you.
we're still on
Thank
this.
you. Yeah,
I mean,
no,
that's
hey,
probably
I-
comes across
I
as
like
a huge
to-
insult,
it's
but
a
I
huge
mean
insult.
it. Oh yeah, but
I'm going to do some quick math here. I'm bringing up my calculator here.
I had this whole intro planned, and wow, did that go out the window?
No, this is a
Just
perfect.
fucking
This is a perfect.
quick.
How many weeks are in a year? 52.
52.
Okay, so we can do this podcast for 192 years
Yeah,
before we have to rethink our naming structure.
I think the technology in terms of the health industry will catch up, where we will be able to realize that.
What if that's the thing? Is eventually you, instead of dying, you can obviously get yourself put into a computer system, or
Right,
whatever.
like in what's that show on Netflix?
Altered Carbon.
No.
Okay. Cyberpunk.
Oh,
Castlevania.
I like that game.
Breaking Bad.
Fuck, what is it called? You know what I'm talking about? It's like Twilight Zone, but it was like newer.
The new Twilight Zone.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Yeah.
Yes.
I never watched it.
Not even close to anything you just named, by the way. But they had an
It's in
episode
the
like that
ballpark.
where you put your consciousness into like a computer.
Yeah.
And live out. Dude, that sounds like fucking hell to
What
me.
if that was our like heaven or hell, right? Like you get put in a
That's
computer
hell.
and then so you think that's
Yeah,
that's
because
hell.
in the episode, like she was put in like the 90s and like everyone's partying and shit.
Mm-hmm,
And like it's made to look like, oh man, they're having a great time. She gets to be with the person she loves, whatever. But I'm like, dude, that's forever.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the same year forever. Like nothing progresses. You literally will run out of things to do.
Not if the computer changes. Like, what if somebody changes it from the outside, or what if you have the ability to control your environment? Think like the little guys at Among Us running up to a little computer and just being like, oh, 2020, let's relive COVID because I don't want to be bugged by anybody for a year.
That would be my year on repeat. And that's super
2020, that's
selfish.
crazy,
Like
yeah.
there's a
No,
lot
no,
that
for
was
sure.
bad for that year.
Yeah.
but the introvert in me is.
Tyler, you're a very selfish guy.
I'm a super selfish
Yes.
guy. That's why I want to do this podcast.
And that's what I love about you.
That would be we would be in a computer simulation, and we would only be doing this podcast, just rehashing stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that's what I would be doing in the
No, we would be doing that. It'd be your hell, my heaven. But there's a duality there.
It's not
that I
my
like, you know?
hell doing the podcast forever.
No, I get
but
it. It's okay.
Hey, that's a purgatory kind of thing.
Oh,
I'll pay
okay,
my
thanks.
dues. You know what
Okay,
I'm
it's
saying?
not quite hell.
No.
It's right next to it.
Anyways, yeah, we'll get to 200 years easy. All you have to do is pick the green ending in Mass Effect, and then we're like half machine.
There's the reference. We just had to make sure to.
We
hit
have
that,
to hit that every
thing. Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
Dude, do you know how much EA is giving us?
We can't say on this show.
Well, we gave them what, $180?
We gave them $192 per episode
Do we?
just to be able to say that. I guess I don't know.
That sounds like the most EA contract. Like,
Yeah.
How about you guys pay us $200 episode just to drop our name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Think about the
Sounds
exposure.
like Sony.
Or
Yeah,
Sony. That's actually
Who's,
in the news.
who's the
We do have
worst?
some
Who's
news
the
for
worst
that.
company now?
Ooh.
Remember when it was EA by far? Is it still
I think EA's still pretty rough, but I think Sony's about to hit that.
But
Sony?
see,
Sony's
is
fucked,
EA rough,
especially
though?
with their. Oh, I think so. You don't think so?
Well, based on like what, right? Like I understand,
Just
it's like the joke now. It's like the ongoing joke.
dude, how they produce like their games, just the shady like I remember like Battlefront 2, you know what I mean? Like all these things locked behind
Oh no, I
yeah.
absolutely agree with you. It's Battlefront 2,
Yeah.
the
So-
Mass Effect stuff,
the fucking the
battle-
sports games.
Yeah,
Don't get me started on the sports games, man. I'm old enough to remember when sports games were good. You know what I mean?
are the sports games still egregious?
They're fucking awful, man.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think they've changed since like
Egregious.
2007.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I put into the Google, so you know that everything I'm about to read is 100% correct.
Absolutely.
better
yeah.
than Bing.
But
Sorry, Phil Spencer.
Hey,
Hey.
I just before clicking on
trying to
this
get
link,
sponsored, dude. Well,
I
I like
put-
any product. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
before clicking on this link, I put the worst game companies of 2021 in.
Yep.
So I'm going to pull up this article, and it's going to rank them on.
Okay, let's
That'd be
So real quick, let's
skip
recap that. 2021, you said. So that's this year.
2020.
2020.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, 2020, and I just saw that there's a Reddit link, and nobody's more right than Reddit. So.
Oh, Reddit, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for
right
sure.
there in their name.
How about we take a poll?
Write it.
What do you think the number one is? Real quick.
Number one worst company? I'm
Yeah.
going to say Blizzard.
That Reddit says.
I think
Wait,
Blizzard.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a good one.
Because
That's a
I
good
think
one.
2020 is pretty close
That's
to
a good one.
how
I'm going to go with a sleeper. CD Projekt Red.
for 2020 though.
Yeah,
When was this list made?
because
Give
that
us
was
give us
Cyberpunk,
date.
right?
Sure, but not if it hasn't come out yet.
207 days ago.
No,
was
it
the
came out in
last
fall.
activity. So it'd be pretty close.
Was it the end of 2020? That's a good point. I mean,
you know, what I mean,
it's
if
a game.
Cyberpunk's
Right,
not out
right,
yet,
right.
we don't know how.
I
how
assumed
terrible
it
was.
must have been at the end of the year. since
Also,
it was
this Reddit
2020.
link doesn't have a list. It's only got games. So.
Well, that was a little anti.
yeah, all right.
But I still have a list.
Yeah, pull up the
Give
list.
us the list.
Yeah.
What do we got?
I don't think they are, but CD
But
Projekt Red. I think
I say Activision Blizzard's probably up there, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's worse than EA in the
he
list.
sucks. He's fucking
And
terrible.
I think CD Projekt Red, just because of Cyberpunk, has their name somewhere on this list.
That's got to be like one of the biggest overreactions, right? Just completely writing off a whole company based off a rough launch,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I don't want to give them a pass.
No,
But then again, like I'm sure there's a lot more of
I'm
like,
not saying
behind the
that-
scenes with the publisher versus
Right.
developers and all that stuff. But
I'm not saying it wasn't justified feeling that way. I'm just saying it was an overreaction.
what you mean the internet overreacted?
Yeah, I know it's
That's
shocking.
Yeah, I think
They're
that's even
usually
more
right on the
shocking yeah.
nose, but I don't get the internet, man. Like,
What don't you get about the internet?
so well, everything, but mostly, maybe it's just maybe I'm a naive person. I like to assume that most people are rational humans.
Naturally,
Maybe that's fucking wrong of me. Maybe
I mean it is human nature just to assume the best of everyone else.
is it really?
No, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah, right. All right. Anyways, so I like assume that like everyone's rational, but you get to the internet, man, it's just a fucking dumpster. Like,
Yeah, I mean, well, that's
just
the beauty of the internet. No matter what your opinion is,
Yeah.
there is somebody there that not only disagrees with you,
yeah,
but disagrees with you 10 times as strongly as you feel about
It's like
any
you
topic.
insulted their core
Yeah,
belief structure.
I truly don't
It's
care
insane.
what topic it is. Somebody disagrees with
What do
you.
you What do you think
times
that
10.
people are most sensitive about on the internet?
on the internet?
Yeah.
Oh. Are
Is
you
it-
talking like within the game world? Or are you talking like I would say any
Yeah, sure.
social anything?
Let's stick to the game world.
Okay, like, I didn't know
because
if we
I
wanted
don't
to
want to.
start
I don't want to
jumping
get into
into,
that.
like,
Yeah, I don't
Israel,
wanna get into that.
Palestine,
No,
you know,
no,
like,
no.
okay.
Okay, one more audible.
All right,
I
here
have
we
an
go.
actual list
Here's
Okay.
an actual list from 2020.
Good save.
from r/gaming on Reddit
Oh yeah.
via user Epic Trap Card.
I know him. He's good. He's
He-
really good. Yeah.
It probably has nothing to do with Epic.
The
Wait, what do you say? Epic trap card.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
Magic cylinders. Anyone? No.
Nope.
You got me.
I don't
Nate,
do
Nate,
got
I want
you.
the record to
and
show
I'm gonna
Nate
send
is
it
nodding his
right
head.
back to you.
Exactly. Hey, as long as I get one out of two. All right, go ahead.
All right, here's what this list. What's
Tyler's hanging out over there with a greedy jar.
what's number one?
That's
Fruity
banned.
Jar?
Pot of greed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pot of green? What?
Pot of greed. It's
Pot of
banned.
greed?
It's on the ban list.
Isn't there a jar of greed too? I think that one's
There's a
trap.
lot of greedy.
I don't know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Greedy. I was gonna say Tupperware, but that.
It's okay, Tyler. Just because you're in your early to mid 30s, doesn't
feel
mean
like
you have to
shouldn't-
I
understand
was going to say,
Shouldn't have
let's-
Yu-Gi-Oh
let's
been
keep it
kinda-
early. I'm still early.
Yu-Gi-Oh
30s.
should have been kind of big when you were
No,
a young lad.
no.
What was big? Digimon,
Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Yep.
So okay,
right.
sorry. Go ahead. I'm
So-
fucking
Epic
out.
Trap Card
Yeah.
says that top 10 worst gaming companies
Yeah.
in order from least worst to the most, I guess, egregious is Warner Brothers Interactive.
Are they giving like reasons and rationale for all this?
I think they wanted people to discuss.
Oh, okay.
So
Sure.
There's
So-
nothing better than just making a blatant hot take and letting the
Yeah.
comments just fucking
So-
run rampant.
So Arkham Knight, terrible. Just terrible. So I can see that.
I did say this is 2019 too, correct?
I'm still
Oh, okay.
bitter about Arkham.
Wait, you didn't like
Knight.
Arkham Knight?
I loved it. Well, no. Actually, I'm going to say no.
All right, quick. What's your order of the Arkham games?
City, Asylum, Knight.
Sorry,
City Asylum Night.
My cat's
Tyler's
going
cat is behind him.
What about
She
Origins?
chases her tail all the
Literally
time.
attacking her tail,
Yeah.
biting herself, letting go, and then doing it again.
Dude, cats are the worst.
I would actually give you
Well,
Origins.
there goes the podcast.
Well, there goes
Right.
half the price. No. I just secured the dog people.
Yeah.
I secured them. That's a
right
smart move.
before Arkham Knight, I would put Origins.
That's true. The dog
Right
people
before
are
Arkham
loyal.
Knight. See, the thing about Asylum is just like it was so confined, but it was the first one. Like I can
Yeah, but
understand
it was a great Batman game.
Yeah, it was great. Yes, but
So I
like
was
cities, like
City is better. In
I
every
like
way. Yeah.
to explore Gotham. Anyways,
Can we take a vote real quick on what you think number one is? Because this one surprises me. I can.
2019.
So
Yeah.
because it surprised you, you're saying it's not Blizzard.
Well,
Blizzard's next. It's number 9. Spoiler alert.
Oh, you know what? They
wait, are you asking about number
apparently
10 or
it's
number
better
1?
than-
Number 1,
for 2019. Can you give us the first letter?
B.
B. Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
Fallout
that makes
76,
sense. Oh,
huh?
that's best game ever made.
2019. Wow.
That is a shit turd.
It's probably fine now. They have NPCs, right?
Oh my god, dude.
I can't believe
Oh,
that's
man.
hey, we're bringing back NPCs, and
I-
then there's just thunderous applause.
Dude,
Okay.
I love the memes where they cut from like their E3, reveal.
Yeah.
And then the fucking game footage. It is the funniest shit to me. Just absolutely stepping
nothing's
in it.
better than the year before they announced the Final Fantasy VII remake, and they were like, "Hey, everyone likes Final Fantasy VII," and then people lost their shit.
Yeah.
they were standing and screaming, and then they're like, "So we up-resed some things,"
Oh.
and it was just like, "Oh my god, it
That's
was
the funniest
hilarious."
shit.
I mean, they make good.
One of my favorites is Diablo. It was like a big Diablo announcement. Everyone thought it was gonna be 4.
It is the mobile
It's
game.
the mobile
yeah.
game, and that guy gets up there. He's like, "This is the worst April Fool's joke ever, man."
that is absolutely.
Yeah,
oh man.
savage.
To be fair, they came out and said like, "Hey, don't expect anything," and people expected it.
But it's the internet.
That's true.
So
I mean, that's like the live form of the internet, right?
number 8.
Yeah, well.
I don't know if I agree with, but
Okay.
I honestly don't remember many of the games that came out in 2019. So.
Sure. What do we
But,
got?
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Assassin's Creed. Wasn't that
Personally,
wasn't
other
that a
than
flop?
like Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed's been doing well.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Ubisoft
but that was the one
does
in
a pretty good job, like keeping their games up to date, like supporting them. I don't think any of their games are like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever. But I also don't think they like company wise are bad.
Wasn't that the Assassin's Creed, the one in France?
No, not 2019.
Was that earlier?
That would have been. I think that was the one in London.
2019, I think they actually took a year off because was it 2020 that the new Viking game came out?
When did Origins Origins?
Well, you had Odyssey after Origins, so
Odyssey.
that was like
That's-
2017
yeah.
or
Oh, I
earlier
see.
than that. Yeah.
I know that one of them flopped, and that's what I was maybe thinking.
If I had to guess, and this is terrible, but I would assume that it was something with like sexual harassment or something along those lines where
That'll
Ubisoft
do
got,
it. Yeah.
got hammered for that. Because I know that was at some point. I don't remember exactly when though.
yeah.
What's number 7?
So in 2019, real quick, just so that we have a little bit of a refresher, the top selling games were Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Control, Resident Evil 2, Death Stranding, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Outer Wilds, I don't know which one that is.
It's a great game.
Apex Legends, The Outer Worlds, Devil May Cry 5, Disco Elysium, Mortal Kombat 11, Modern Warfare, Metro Exodus, Sword and Shield, Untitled Goose Game, Kingdom Hearts
Game of the year.
3,
It's not
The
bad.
Goose one, not
Super
Kingdom Hearts.
Mario Maker 2,
What a great year!
Gears
2019
That was
Five.
stacked.
good.
It was stacked.
Yeah.
I think Sekiro won
The
Game of the Year,
Division
right?
2.
Yeah.
Do you think that's it?
Division 2?
Yeah.
No, because
I
they
hate the
added a
Division,
whole
dude.
bunch of stuff. They revamped stuff. They added the Warlord. Is that when Division 2 first came out though?
I'm
Must
double
have, right?
checking. It was top sales. Release date February 7th, 2019.
Yeah, didn't
Okay.
that flop? Am I wrong? I know
They
you liked
did
it,
like
Tyler.
with the Ubisoft fashion. They just stuck at it, and it's fine.
Dude,
now.
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of a hypocrite because I do like Cyberpunk. That's kind of the same thing, right?
Sure.
But
That's
I could not
only-
get into Division.
Well,
the
Division
game
was not
fucking
broken.
terrible.
That was the difference. People didn't like the systems and stuff, and I can understand that. But
Yeah,
it
Cyberpunk's
wasn't like
broken.
straight up
Well, dude,
broken.
So the only things I'm seeing are that and Far Cry New Dawn from Ubisoft.
Yeah, I don't
Which
know.
New Dawn was like a
Yeah,
spin-off.
Tyler's probably right. There's probably some sort of scandal or something behind the scenes.
Yeah, and not
maybe.
to make light of that, I don't remember. I mean, unfortunately,
I have no
like,
idea.
Yeah,
I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
too much. Try to focus on the games. But, all right, what's next? 7?
Microsoft.
Yeah, they suck.
I think Microsoft's been doing a lot of good stuff.
They've been
On
doing a lot of good
2019.
stuff. Not great
Not-
with
not a-
the,
not a-
the
according
games
to-
itself, though.
Trapmaster, who's the definitive expert on this.
Is this the
obviously.
same? Is this Trapmaster's?
Yeah, this is all.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
this
the
is
leading
all
expert on.
random guy on Reddit who's
Sure.
going to get us talking about these
Well,
companies.
let's, relax a little bit. This guy's got some credentials.
I mean, I am a fan of Microsoft and Xbox, but I think when it comes down to like the first party titles that they're putting out, maybe a little lacking. It's like you don't go
Yeah,
and just
Sony
go buy and Bethesda
kills them, right?
For
You talking about exclusives or?
yeah,
Sony kills them.
Right.
Absolutely. And so does Nintendo, but
Sure.
Nintendo's got their exclusives locked down because they just fucking milk the biggest cow ever, right?
I mean, Disney, Mickey Mouse, now Star Wars, Marvel.
Dude, fuck Disney.
I was
Actually,
gonna say Disney is a whole
Yeah.
other.
I hate Disney. Dude, it's such a coin flip. They buy a property and you're literally just flipping a coin on whether
So-
they'll fucking destroy it or make it good.
I know we were kind of deciding on what we wanted to talk about today, but let's actually think about this for a second. What is the huge difference between Disney and Nintendo? I feel like they've got, a lot of the same business practice.
Billions of dollars
Well, but like,
is the difference.
but think about it. Like,
Nintendo sticks to their game plan
right.
more than
Ninten-
Disney does.
How so?
Disney's changed throughout the years. I feel like Nintendo's stayed pretty consistent.
Yeah, Disney is adapting. Nintendo does not seem to adapt.
Dude, think about
as
the
quickly.
fucking Disney movies you saw when you were a kid versus like today.
Well, I think the adaption part comes a lot with like culture. American culture is a lot more about growing with the times, where Japanese culture, I feel like, is very like rigid and it's like all about tradition.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's the whole thing. If you're Japanese culture and that is influencing your business practices, then like that's going to be your main thing.
Yeah, but I feel like even with like Japanese culture, like the Japanese are really like up with technology, and they do tend to have lots of creative outlets and evolve with those creative outlets. Now, they will keep something going for a while, and they have a good way of doing it, but they continue to create more. Whereas I feel like Nintendo just kind of takes what they've already got and they just like flip the formula around a little bit.
And it works, right? Like,
Usually.
But that's
Yeah.
what Disney's doing too, isn't it? Mickey Mouse has gotten more animated as time has gone on, but Mickey Mouse is still just,
when's the last Mickey Mouse main feature?
There's probably something from within a year. I can almost guarantee.
Yeah,
it.
but it's not like that's not their cash cow. That's not what's making them all their money, right? Whereas Mario's still the leading guy for Nintendo, right? Like he's literally bringing in all the money. So
I mean, aside from Animal Crossing, that's
that was
about
big.
it. But
for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Nintendo's just really consistent, I guess. They're just kind of pumping out the same.
consistently good on certain things
Yeah.
and consistently bad on others. I mean,
Yeah,
you
like
want
you-
to talk about online gaming, Nintendo
Yeah.
is bottom of the barrel. Like they are very, very bad.
I feel like
on-
people
on
know what
any
to
of that
expect
stuff.
though, because they're so consistent.
Sure.
Like
if you
nobody
wanna
gets their
surprise
hopes up.
something,
Yeah.
like, hey, actually have voice chat in your games, or actually let people connect in an easier way, or I don't know, be more Microsoft when it comes to social.
You can get
aspects
voice
of it.
chat now. You just have to download their
Sure.
app.
Yeah, they made a big deal about that, and everyone's like, "Dude, this has been out forever."
And the funny thing is, you have to have the game that you're playing have that feature on the app.
That's
It
right.
doesn't even
Like
work
if
with
if
all
you're
the
going
games.
to go
There's
about
like 3.
the voice chat on your phone, why would you not just use Discord like a
Right.
normal human being? And
Yeah,
that's
they're-
it. But,
Super. How do those oversights happen?
friendly.
well, that's true. It's not
Oh,
good friendly, but
I
that's
guess.
fine.
I think that's their big thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's definitely their market, right? They want to hit everyone. They want their audience to be like no one to be excluded from their audience. Like, and it does work. Like Tyler was saying when we were having a discussion about their games and stuff. Like anyone can pick that up and enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's not like capped. Whereas like Resident Evil is a certain audience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get a. I mean, maybe Kyle or something.
I was gonna say
Fucking
you're gonna have
crazy.
the 7-year-olds playing.
Yeah,
it.
but mostly not, right?
Sure.
Especially not me. I mean, I don't even like horror games. Like I'm a bitch.
Now, I think my only, and this is obviously me going back against what I was just saying, and honestly, I don't even know how we got on this subject. I'm assuming Nintendo's not on the list of top 10 worst.
I don't think so.
Worst
The next
company.
one was Tencent Games, which I've heard of, but I've
League
no
of
idea
Legends,
what they do.
baby.
Yeah,
Let's
Tencent
go.
owns
Talk
League
about
of
sexual
Legends,
harassment.
some
Oh,
PUBG, some Fortnite, Epic, all that stuff.
So Ride is not in this one, but if you
The
scroll
Tencent
like,
owns right now.
yeah,
to
Tencent.
the second most liked or upvoted comment, their top 10 was Bethesda, because they've gotten so bad they get 3 spots to themselves.
Nice.
Activision, the Bungie lost Hurts and they've drug Blizzard into the ground. Nexon, Activision in the works. EA, Respawn saved them from being Activision, except their rampant monetization is now spilling over into Apex and kind of pushing me away. Pearl Abyss, Black Desert Online, I guess, which is another like cash grab. Like I don't know if you've ever played
What is?
Black Desert Online.
Oh God. It's a weave game.
Riot still love League, but their intercompany issues put them on the list.
Yep.
Bohemia
Yeah, but it's Tencent,
Interactive.
right?
No, Rad had a bunch of
Yeah, a bunch of shit going on.
yeah,
but
it's like
I
a
thought-
sexual harassment /
Yeah.
like aggressive workplace and stuff like that.
Yep.
But
Nate's still reading.
Yeah. Intently,
It's
I
good
might
pod.
add.
Just to go back real quick on the Nintendo thing, and
Yeah.
then we can move on. But as I'm saying, like I'm agreeing with you on, hey, it's kid friendly and everything else. The other half of that is, if you go on Switch's marketplace, there is a lot of hentai game stuff on there for like 99 cents.
I
Like, they,
really
like,
don't know
flipped
what
it.
your guys' like search engines and stuff are doing, but
Wallpaper engine.
Wallpaper
my mind was there
engine
too.
And your
Tyler did it
Nintendo
too.
account?
Did it
Tyler,
too.
What, are you the reason? It shows like on my Steam list. These are titles that your friends look up. Are you like the guy? Because I thought it was like 2 other
You can,
specific
hey man,
dudes.
you can check out my library.
But,
I'm wide open. You
It
can
was
look
really
at it
funny.
whenever you
Actually,
want.
Chase, I don't know how this happened, but Chase has one of those games where it's a puzzle game and you undress the girls. and he
That
claims
sounds
he has
like Chase.
he claims he has no idea how that happened. We were like, dude, why the fuck is this in here? He's like, dude, I don't know, man. I got hacked. I was like,
Just
yeah,
like,
okay,
yeah.
okay, buddy. Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Chase,
yeah.
man.
If I was married to Mackenzie, you know, I would buy that game too, bro. Like,
I was wondering why like he hasn't been on Tarkov for a while, and he said he quit playing games because he was playing them too much. He probably got really sore and tired.
yeah,
Wow.
no, yeah. He's probably
So I'm gonna
jacked
have to
on one
literally
side.
just
yeah.
go in and edit all of this out. Okay.
No.
Wait, why can't you do that?
Oh, we can. That's fine.
We can we just edit this part out and then send this part to Chase?
Wait, why do we have to edit this out?
We don't have to. It's fine.
Are we afraid of Chase?
I'm afraid of Mackenzie. I haven't even.
Oh,
met
I
her.
am. I'm also afraid of Mackenzie. She'll never watch this.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Once we get big enough, man.
Chase
I
has
don't know
said
if I
worse stuff
mentioned
to Mackenzie.
We are now on Apple Podcasts.
That's true. We're classy
So,
now.
Yeah, we can
We are
just,
the elite
we say our name enough, it just pops up in people's search
couch
feeds.
company.
Yep.
I love couches. I love company.
It's very tough to get that name anywhere.
It's a great name. As Nate just hurls his mic across the
That's
room
okay.
in
It's
frustration.
It's fine. We can
It's
mute-
okay if you don't like the name. I know you got outvoted, but it's fine. Trust me. I like the name. I think it's good.
So now that we're 12 hours into our episode 4,
Yeah, was that a good enough intro?
Yeah, I
or-
think that's a
yeah.
great intro.
I hit all the marks.
I would like to talk about some games that we've been playing, if that's cool with you guys. So I know, John, you've been.
Can I talk about the puzzle ones, or should I leave those?
No. I want
For a different
in-depth
podcast.
detail about the puzzle ones.
Okay,
exactly
great.
Kind of,
I'm trying to get my order of top 10 girls
Sure.
puzzles. Okay, yeah, I've got them. Okay.
go for it.
What
What are you been playing? Okay, all right.
You caught me.
So I know, like you've been on the Mass Effect train still.
Yeah.
Are you still loving it?
Yes, I am. But, well, here's the thing, dude. Like, the more we discussed it, it has problems, obviously. Like, it's not great. And the more I just wish they would have just done, like, a remake and stuff.
When you say not great, it's not anything that the Legendary Edition is specifically. It's just like they didn't fix really anything. From
yeah, right.
the
It just
games.
seems like a bare minimum.
cash grab.
Well, it's absolutely a cash grab. It's like a bare minimum reskin of it.
Sure.
It looks slightly better. I mean, maybe not slightly. Like, the game's pretty old, so it does look better. But yeah, the mechanics feel pretty much the same. Nothing's really crazy different, at least in my eyes.
Yeah.
I still love it because I love the game. But do I love the game, or am I loving the remaster? You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think it's mostly the game.
Yeah, like you
It's
could
the
have played
nostalgia.
Mass
Yeah.
Effect 2 and 3 again.
Yeah,
and
right.
been
Yeah, I would
fine.
have probably had the same enjoyment
Sure.
out of it. It's not like I'm being fucking blown away. Like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
and they changed the camera angles, so I can't even enjoy the best part of the game. You know what I'm saying? So
Like Garrus and
yeah,
whatnot.
Garrus's ass.
Yep.
Like, oh my god,
I know.
that's why about it. Whatever.
Nate, you said you fell off of it because you hate Mass Effect 2 and all
I
things
haven't
nice.
literally picked it up.
Yeah.
in a
That's
week and a
fucking
half.
crazy. Well, didn't you say that, like, oh, I'm actually liking Mass Effect 2 more than I remember?
I'm liking the characters more than I remember. The game itself
the game, dude.
is miserable.
Yes. Welcome to Mass Effect. You don't play it to shoot at things.
I was going to say the
You
game.
play the speed run to start talking to people, right?
If you want to enjoy the gameplay of Mass Effect, the best thing you could go for is Andromeda, and then good luck there.
Bro, I didn't even make it an hour in that game.
I didn't mind like Mass Effect 1 because Mass Effect 1, like, I don't know, man. I always come back to it. I like Mass Effect 1 better. I think it's just
Yeah,
a better
that's
game.
fine.
But
Yeah, everyone's stuck in their ways. But you like the RPG elements of Mass Effect 1, right? It's more
yeah, and I mean,
in
like,
that vein.
the other thing is too, I think like it really takes me out of the universe every time I get like the arcade screen, like mission complete,
Sure.
way to go.
And I
Like-
completely forgot about that until it first popped
I
up,
did
and I was
too.
like, "Oh, that's what you're talking about."
Yeah, it's stupid.
Wait, what
It
are you
is-
talking about?
At the end of each of the
Actually-
missions in Mass Effect 2, where you see the elusive man just sitting in
Oh, I
his
see,
chair,
I
and it's
see,
like,
I
"Hey,
see.
here's
It gives
everything
you a
just
recap,
got."
and it's
Yeah.
like, this is how much XP you earned. These are the people
Right.
you talked to. These are decisions you made. This
Where in
is,
Mass Effect 1, you're like walking onto the ship and getting decontaminated and everything. And
I don't know about you. I thought you had a baller PC, but my guy doesn't even finish listening to the decontamination thing before I load into the next.
oh, I skipped that part because my PC is so great. But I'm just trying to go down to your level where they still get the first little blurb out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just already like in my bed by the time I open the door. So I don't know.
Are you playing anything else besides Mass Effect, or are you just kind of
Oh, there's this
that right
game
now?
I picked up called League of Legends.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. I don't know about their company though.
What do you think about like the longevity of it? You think it's going to be around for a while? Or is it just
It's
kinda
like, I'm not really sure. Like they're on like year 11, but it's not that long. You know what I mean? Like I'm twice,
see, I thought it was
twice
like
that.
a dead game at this point. It's like
Yeah, it might
basically
be.
StarCraft, right?
pretty much StarCraft.
No.
Dude, StarCraft was the like Korea's national sport. Do you know that?
Did not know that. Have you ever?
I was born in the wrong
do you
country.
watch them play? Like
The professionals,
their
yeah,
APM
for
and
sure,
stuff?
for sure.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
it's something. Wwhenever you have to retire,
You talking about StarCraft or League?
Either or.
Either one.
I'm
I've
talking
seen
about StarCraft.
I never got into StarCraft. That's kind of a little bit before my time.
StarCraft requires I'm more skilled in League of
Absolutely,
Legends.
absolutely.
That's my.
I mean,
that's my hot
it's.
take.
I'll defend my baby to the end.
Sure.
So I'll say that it's different.
It is different.
skill
Yeah,
sets.
absolutely.
But yeah, well, there's like this meme I actually saw the other day where it's like, there's like an internet cafe in Korea. One guy's playing League and he's like, just typing along like real easy, and then the guy next to him just slamming on his keyboard playing StarCraft. It was hilarious. It's like a little bit of a difference, but yeah, no, I understand. I mean, the thing is, League's a team game, right? So you have to coordinate and shit.
I mean, so
be
so
harder.
StarCraft, depending on how you do it. I mean,
The
granted,
pros
most
do that.
what
What's
you
it
do
like
is
2
you
v2
mine-
tournaments?
most of it
And you
is
give
1v1.
That's what I
Tyler
thought.
control of all your units as you just keep mining
That's
stuff.
true. I would do that. I think you would actually enjoy it more where you control the units and I would go and.
Well,
and
dude,
keep
it
the
sounds
base
like our
going.
balloon tower defense strategy where, one guy's just fucking farming bananas in the
Yeah.
background and the other guy's popping balloons like there's no tomorrow.
I missed that game. That's a good one.
That's a great game.
It is a good
Like,
game.
no cap.
Yeah.
That's a fucking fantastic game. And we're going to get Nate into it one day.
One day,
One day.
Nate shaking
Dude,
his head now.
you'll like it. That's the only reason you haven't touched it. You're going to fall in love with
I
it.
hate tower defense games.
Exactly.
The
Me
only
too.
one
Me
I
too.
kind of like.
Luckily, there's no
was,
towers here. It's just monkeys.
What's it call it? What was it? Orcs Must Die that we played.
Yeah, but
That
that's
was
not
like tower
that's a
defense-y.
horde mode
Here-
game.
here's the
That's
elevator
not-
pitch
Yeah.
of Balloon Tower Defense. It's like Orcs Must Die, but everything you didn't like about it is gone, and everything you love about life is in it. Think about that.
So it's Tarkov.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a sniper monkey. You can customize his sniper rifle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put an upper on it that you like.
Put some
scope,
night vision
everything.
goggles on
Yep.
them and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all in
absolutely. I'm telling you, dude. Every caliber you can think of, put that fucking bad boy in there. Change the fucking barrel. So you can get that blackout.
So Nate's been not playing Mass Effect. Nate, what are you playing as far as you've been playing Tarkov?
I think I was getting them.
You were close.
I said blackout. And he's like, oh,
yeah,
fuck. I do like that one.
we played Hunt. That's a game.
We did play Hunt.
It's an older game, right? Like that came out a couple years back, I think, or at least it's been in early
So
access.
apparently it's like newer, but it's
Newish.
been in early access for PC for a while. But I guess it like recently came to console, and I guess there's talks to like get crossplay started soon.
Oh, that would be interesting. Actually, that's
Yeah.
super interesting. We played it for the first time. We're still learning it, so we are no experts by any stretch of the imagination. But we enjoyed it. It's what do you call it? It's not a battle royale. It's a PvEVP scenario. So you're playing against shooting zombies and trying to banish monsters and things like that. But you're also fighting other teams of between 1 and 3 players.
A lot of the descriptions I read before, like I downloaded it, said it was battle royale adjacent.
Is that what they call that
Yeah,
genre?
I don't know how I feel about that, considering in a battle royale game, the only way to get off the island is you have to kill everyone. And in this game, theoretically, you might not even have to see another person. So I liked it. I like the slowness of it. I like the fact that you have to set yourself up for success versus just I'm a good shot, I'm going to kill you 100% of the time. Granted, that plays a part of it, but if I'm hiding in a bush and I have the drop on you, chances are you're going to die before you know what happened. I like that type of gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're a grandpa, like that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, when
You
my
know?
reflexes are just not how,
Yeah,
how
exactly.
it used to be.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, Tyler's actually not that bad, and
pretty
everyone.
bad.
No, dude. I'm telling you, like everyone memes on you. You know what I'm saying? Like your little nephew or whatever. He was like, dude, like they'll fucking destroy this guy, and then they underestimate you, and you
Just-
know get a couple headshots in there.
Anything slow and steady, anything strategy. That's what I
Yeah,
like.
that's why you're good at Rainbow. You can find a nice corner.
Just throw down traps around me and hide in a corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually not good at Rainbow, but that's
Dude,
that's
you were
fine.
You were actually solid.
Yeah, you were one of the better ones.
Defensing.
Yeah, you were good at
days,
defense. You were pretty
for
bad at
days.
offense.
I
That's
did
true.
not
That's
like
true.
the offense side.
You just got to find your dude.
Yeah.
You should go with a
nine
shield
more
guy.
since the last time you played.
What's that?
I played when Sam Fisher came on. So
Yeah,
how many?
there's like nine
another,
more.
Nine
now.
more since.
Not actually.
I was
but
gonna say,
like-
there's like-
Sam
there's
Fisher's
like
not that
four,
long
maybe.
ago.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, man.
I think it's like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy.
You've played-
They came out with some chick with like a robot arm, and
Running out of ideas. That sounds fair.
Sure.
they came out with like a Frenchman who's got a drone that has a C4 charge.
And they have like a big ape that can talk and wears glasses. And
Yeah, they have a hamster and a
dude
mech
with a
suit.
cowboy
Yeah,
hat and some
right.
revolvers. And
Yeah.
a
Metal
dude in
arm
like
also.
a Grim Reaper mask.
Dude, McCree's great.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I fucking love McCree. I swore off every other character when I saw McCree. You know what I'm saying? You ever have that moment in a game where you're like, you know, you obviously can pick from a bunch of characters and you just get the one. And you're like, this is it.
That is every single game I've ever played.
Okay.
I pick one character.
Yeah.
I never branch out, and I just main that character. And if I pick poorly, that's on me. But I stick with
that's
them.
not how that should
That's-
work. By the
it
way,
shouldn't work.
You
that
got to
way.
find your one trick,
That's true, but
like Blitzcrank,
Like
or
Blitzcrank,
you know, fucking Legion.
So the other thing I wanted to talk through. So Nate, you played Hunt. You've been playing Tarkov. You still love Tarkov.
I do.
I wish Tyler would play Tarkov. You know how much my enjoyment would go up? Think about this. You got two ragtag fucking hillbillies with
Sure,
lever action rifles.
John. If we could play Tarkov
Hunt.
the way I would play Tarkov,
well, no, because we're going up against people with fucking Kevlar and sniper rifles and tanks.
That
and
also
shit.
might be Hunt. I don't think we're at that point yet.
Oh,
but-
well.
I don't think you have armor in Hunt. I think there's some like perks and stuff you can get, but
My point is, Tarkov's the most fun for me because I am the huge underdog with no gear. And then when you get that one kill on this guy who's fucking geared to the teeth, you know what I'm saying? You just
take
make
all this stuff and then
a
die
couple
on the
million
next roll.
ruples
Yeah.
off that.
Yeah, I lost, I think, 13 million ruples of the 17 million I have this week, which for everybody who listens to this and knows Tarkov means I really suck at the game. But
Well, no, it's because you fucking blow your money. You're like, hey, John, let's go to labs.
yeah,
and
but,
here's
like,
a
the people who are good at the
$20 million
game,
kit.
They rotate between like 100 million every week. Like,
Yeah.
so whatchamacallit? But yeah, I've been blowing a ton of money in just like really good like stuff, and I'm actually having to be forced if I want to like have money to buy the ammo I need to use like shitty armor and weapons again, and I found that I'm enjoying the game more.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. Like,
Yeah.
I find a gun, and like, if you're elite status in that game, you're like, well, this gun fucking sucks. Like, I just want the best. But for a peasant like me, you find a gun in the dumpster, and you're like, this is my new like
Yeah.
pride and joy, and I lose this. Like, I feel
Absolutely.
so bad. You know what I mean?
Oh my
There's, like,
gosh,
stakes.
this has a scope on it? What?
Yeah,
And then
exactly,
you-
right? Yeah,
like,
dude. Yeah, I can fire rapid fire, but that's fucking
I
crazy.
don't have to use these iron sights. That's great.
That's the way you would play the game with me, and that would be so much fun.
Dude, I would forego any weapons just so I could hold everything in like a back, like just put it on a backpack and then just
Yeah,
go in
snoop around.
completely naked and scrounge around and get everything I can get.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah. What if there was like a super bag where you can't hold a weapon? You know what I mean? It takes your weapon slots
because both your arms are used to hold up the bag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's just fucking comically big bag.
Yeah.
And you just have so much space. Like all your your space that's your weapon and your sling just get converted into the bag.
Are you guys?
So if you go in without like a weapon and like you go in naked, every single scav on the map automatically aggroes to you from its spawn
Why?
because they don't want people going in like nude and just like grabbing stuff, putting it up their butt and running out.
That's terrible.
Because of the
You just lost Tyler.
the
Yeah.
alpha kits.
I'm out.
Yeah.
You-
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't want people like running in, grabbing stuff, and leaving. So to prevent people from doing that, they basically made it so that the scavs will chase you. So there was this funny video that was going around for a little bit where this guy went in and this dude was doing a scav run and he was just following 12 scavs in like a train as they like hunted this dude around the map.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I guess it's to make you incur some risk.
Yeah.
Like when you go in, you have to lose something. Yeah, that makes sense. That sucks though.
I think
that's
that's honestly that's why I like Hunt is because there is risk there. Like you could lose your character, you could lose the stuff, but like it's not that expensive. Like we before we even went into our first game, we had 9,000 I don't know hunter bucks or whatever, And it costs like
What is that in Ethereum?
in Ethereum, it's about like 4.62 Ethereum.
I don't know why you're looking at your phone.
Yeah,
but,
no, I was going for
like it would be a good joke
I was
in
doing
person,
a bit,
but on
yeah,
the fucking.
and no one can see that. I was pretending to do some math. Yeah, I mean, we had $9,100, and like for a regular gun, and honestly, we were still getting kills with the basic weapons. The cool thing about Hunt is you don't have like you're not going to run into somebody with like an LMG, right?
Right.
Like it's just like here's a pistol, and you're
So,
dodging and stuff.
I found out that there is like an automatic weapon, and it's a Mosin. Like they have an automatic Mosin in there. It's like the last thing you unlock, but
That's not time appropriate, right?
no, it's bullshit.
I mean, hey, we haven't run into that yet. Who knows? I'm hoping they have some sort of like gameplay balancing thing with that. But still, like the base guns are like $30 to $40.
Well, I feel like the thing that you really like about it, and the thing that I'm going to enjoy about it too, is that automatic weapon is basically like, hey, come find me and shoot me in the head, please. Like people hear gunshots going off, and you're either avoiding them or you're rolling up on them and getting into a point where like you're ambushing them as they come through.
Right.
Like I told you, I played a little bit outside with just like a random party, and the first game I did last night after you guys got off, somebody hit crows like right off the bat. You know, you were always like, oh, we can spawn close. Some dude spawned real close to us. We walked like maybe for 2.5 seconds, and all of a sudden some guys were behind hay bales shooting at us as these crows go flying off to the side. So we take out this crew, and there's apparently like a swarm bomb. So these guys were like really high level, so he threw like one of those like poison mosquito swarms at them, and it like followed them around, and it just absolutely wrecked them. So there are definitely situations where like we're gonna run across people where it's not gonna feel fair. But
Sure. But see, that's where it and this is why I like it, where it's just be sneaky, like be stealthy, like take your time. That's what I like about it, and that's why like we played Hood, was it Outlaws
Yeah. And Legends.
Legends,
Yeah.
which had promise, but that always devolved into just people running and just slamming into each other and like shooting arrows and bashing each other and different things like that.
Yeah.
Whenever like the thing was going down, and this game has an element of that. Like as you banish the monster or whatever, it's kind of like a horde mode, and everyone knows exactly where you are. But there is still this like you fight your way out, but then you still have to like sneak around and stuff. And like last night we banished a monster, we got out, we were trying to get to the exfil, and people were set up like waiting for us. So John and I were like, in trouble, but it always felt tense, and it always felt like sneaky. It was never just everyone knew where everyone was, and they're just all like shooting.
Well, that's the thing about like when you're designing a game, you know what I mean? Like you want to reward the players for those types of actions, right? Like in Hood, for example, I would have loved, I mean, at least how it was pitched and how I imagined it, which is, I guess, something you run into. Like, people are always going to imagine things a certain way before they actually get their hands on it. But I would love to be able to win a game without anyone knowing. You know what I mean? That would be fucking amazing. It'd be hard, but like, we had that one game in Hood where we got the chest and Kyle was fucking running around the map. They were all chasing him, and we're fucking exfilling before they even realized what happened. You know what I mean? Like, it like makes an announcement like when you break into the vault or whatever, and they have the chest. But I wish it kind of like didn't, though. You know what I mean? Like less HUD stuff, or at least like a hardcore mode. Like we
either
talked
less
about.
HUD stuff, or honestly what Hunt does, where like you get shot, and if you die, you go down, and your teams can revive you, but then you lose like a bar of health. Right?
Is there respawns?
There's no respawns. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
okay.
So if your team doesn't get you back up,
That's big.
You're done.
It's big.
Knowing that if your team doesn't get you back up, you lose everything. So then there is this added pressure on the teammate, like, hey man, like, because it's not like Tarkov. Tarkov, you're dead. And then, like the best thing your team can do for you is take your gear, throw it in a wooded area, and hope that no one picks it up.
Right.
But with this game, it's kind of this added peer pressure of if your team leaves you, they are consciously saying, no, we're effectively saying your character loses everything, you lose everything.
That's
Sucks to
crazy.
suck.
Yeah. Wow.
So like, and that's kind of an interesting dynamic too.
So to give you a little bit of perspective on that, imagine if in Tarkov, whenever you died, you went back to level 1.
That'd be awful.
So that's what Hood does, or not Hood, Hunt does. You die and your character goes back to level 1. technically they disappear and you have to like repurchase them.
Remake it, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that though. I mean,
It's not. I will say
It's
it
cool.
doesn't seem as expensive as Tarkov, and there's
It's
not like
punishing.
you're not like
Well, I think the
kitting
like
out your
coins
guns
and
and
stuff they
things like
start
that.
you out with really helps with that. And I think they did that because of how many people are like max level now. But I think originally, whenever the game first came out, before all the DLCs and before people really like got involved with it, I feel like there was a lot more of like an economy issue, and I think that was expensive at one point in time, but it
Maybe,
can't be now if you're starting out, which honestly kind of takes some of it away. Like it takes away some of the risk factor, because I honestly don't get sad if I die, whereas I feel like if I were to playing that game at the beginning, I'd be really upset. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the beauty for me, where it doesn't. I think the sadness of dying comes later, whenever you have like the bigger stuff, or you have more to lose, or for this game you're trying to get your whatever specific hunter up to level 25 so you can retire him, or even up to 50 so you get more XP, stuff like that. And they have some kind of like higher level scenarios there, and I think that's where the kind of heartbreak comes in. Where with Tarkov, it was more early on for me, where I'm losing all this stuff early on because I'm not good at the game. I'm still learning the game, still learning the maps and where to go and what to do. And while I'm doing that, I'm just getting
Punched in the
murdered
dick.
like constantly over and over and over again. Where with Hunt, it kind of eases you into it, right? Like your first 11 levels, you don't lose anyone. So you
Right,
actually can
right.
have a fairly kitted out guy where you're actually going to be stronger than I would say most of the people we ran into, because a lot of people are just using these level 1 like basic free hunters. And I think they do a pretty good job with that. I mean, granted, we played one night, right? So we only played a few hours. But I thoroughly enjoyed the entire time we played it, and we'll play more.
yeah, no, for sure. I think you're. I mean, I haven't played it, right? So, I don't really know. But from what you're describing, that does make a lot of sense on how they ease you into it. I would love to see that in Tarkov, where you get like a grace period and you get to keep everything you lose, because you're not going to have anything great at that point, right? So like free. I think they do free insurance.
Not free insurance, but you get to heal yourself for free after.
Oh,
the
right,
raids.
yeah.
So I think it's
I would
level
love
5 or the
a
first
free
30.
insurance, maybe just something, because like you're absolutely right, it does suck.
I mean, your insurance is pretty dirt cheap at that level.
Yeah, that's true, and nobody really wants to take your stuff, but I mean they do, right?
Oh,
So-
I'm a jerk. I take everybody's shit.
Yeah,
If I can
right.
carry it out with me, you shot at me, therefore I deserve to take your
Yeah,
stuff.
just take your stuff, sure.
In your big fucking bag,
Huge
big
ass bag.
huge
Big
cartoon
handbag.
bag with a money sign on it.
So before we get into the news, a few things. One, I finished Final Fantasy VII.
Huge.
It's a big deal. Finished
So-
that on
so big.
Memorial Day.
That was so fun. I really wish we recorded that. That was a fucking
Yeah.
interesting playthrough.
I
So many 1 HP fucking questionable
I
decisions.
did not play the game correctly, apparently.
No, you did play.
I guess I played
Here's the
it
thing,
how,
like
how they
what-
intended originally.
when you, yeah, right, like when you have a game that's old, that's that old, that beloved, it's gonna be like completely optimized, right? Like
Yeah.
if you watch anyone do a let's play of that, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you go here and here's how you do this, and this is the best way to do this. You want to equip this on this guy and this and that and whatever. But it's refreshing to see someone, this looks cool. Let's do this. Oh fuck! I didn't know that this guy was this is a
you,
ranged
nothing.
battle.
Yeah.
I can't hit anyone because I don't have any ranged moves.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
We'll be doing like a kind of, again, not a spoiler cast, but we'll talk about it. Our perspectives.
Can we spoil
and
that
things
game?
like
It's
that.
only like what 20.
We might. Hey, if there are people out there like me, then yeah, we spoil it.
That's
But
true.
Whatever. We'll be talking about that. But I did finish that. That was an experience. I'm happy I did it. Would I immediately go back and play it again? Nope.
Fuck no, dude. I wouldn't even do that.
I needed kind of a palate cleanser there. Honestly, that's why I kind of fell off of Mass Effect, just because there's too many RPGs going on at one time.
Yeah.
But-
That was poor timing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was good. But I started playing Final Fantasy 15. I think you will love that game, John, whenever you give it a shot, because you're so into the brotherhood, camaraderie angle.
It's right on my angle, dude.
And that's literally like that's that game.
You did say that to me. I was
That's-
like, fuck, I'm sold.
It's very
I mean,
good.
I have it. Like
Yeah.
I said, after I saw the remake, I bought all the fucking Final Fantasies on Steam.
So
I have, like,
I downloaded it and I remembered it looking better. So
15.
yeah, and I was like, it's kind of weird. It looks
Yeah,
a
you were
little
telling
soft
me
and
you
stuff.
said
yeah.
like before you bought it, you were saying, oh yeah, 15 should look really really nice.
Yeah.
On your hardware.
Using all like NVIDIA's
Yeah.
proprietary stuff. So I found out that I did not install the like HD texture pack for it. Another 66 gigs just for
God.
textures.
What is this, Call of
so
Duty?
I
dude?
installed that, and
Jesus.
now it looks very nice.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's,
so
it
you
is
did
pretty good.
Fix it.
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
But whenever you eventually play it, make sure to download that. It's
I,
free, so.
I'll have to make sure that's
Get that
that's
3080
there.
use.
I am excited. That sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, more about your point there. You playing through Final Fantasy VII. So we kind of hatched this. I don't know if we talked about this before on the podcast.
Sure.
We kind of hatched this little idea about going back, revisiting some of the games that the other guys missed out on in our childhood. I guess. I mean, it can expand further than that, but we kind of play through the game. I mean, this was the first one, but we kind of play through the game with the other guys, kind of get their live reaction. You know what I mean? Kind of raw. See if is this actually good? Does it hold up? Is it nostalgia? Is it It's interesting for everyone, right? It might not be what you remember.
Yeah.
The new person might hate it, and you're like, oh fuck.
I mean, hey, I had to
Yeah.
hand it to you guys. Like, you guys sat there for 29 hours of me going through Final Fantasy. Like, that's crazy to think about, and we got through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it wasn't.
They're like 4 or
as
5
bad as
hour
I thought.
sessions, but yeah, it was.
Well, you had me and Kyle the
Oh my
guides up.
gosh, yeah,
Like, okay, we
yeah.
can skip an hour here, dude.
That
Like,
was-
we don't have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, you'd have to talk to this guy in this house, and he
It-
tells you something. But no, we.
And you're up next. We're gonna be playing Grandia 2, which, according to IGN's top 100 RPGs of all time,
So
Grandia
bullshit, dude.
is
No way.
higher on that list than
No
Final Fantasy
way,
VII.
dude.
So
Final
that is
Fantasy
pretty
VII
good.
isn't even top 50. That's
By-
fucking
I know.
blasphemous.
What was Final Fantasy VII? Was what 52, 51, something like
yeah,
that.
something like that, like low 50s.
Yeah, Grandia was I think 46. So
It was close.
It's close, but
Hey,
still
maybe
higher.
Grandia 2 will blow me away. Maybe it'll
I
be
really
my
hope it
favorite
does.
game of
So
all time.
I like I said, I listened to like the intro part of it again.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that voice acting is
Rough.
pretty.
I can't wait.
It's pretty
It's gonna
funny.
be fucking
One of the
awesome.
main characters is Femshep, though.
Yeah.
So that's Jennifer Hale. So I'm very excited to see if
She's
you can even
great.
recognize her.
You cannot.
Did I tell you what character she was?
No.
Then I'm not
I don't
want
want
to
to know.
You,
Yeah, I don't wanna know.
you
I
figure
I
that
know
out.
nothing about this
Sure.
game. I haven't even
Awesome.
seen it.
I'm so excited.
Just the soundtrack you sent me, and I listened to a couple tracks.
We're
Which
gonna
were cool.
we're gonna skip to some quick news. They did say Steam sale was June 24th, so it's
Yeah.
soon.
Hopefully it should
So
go on
right
sale.
after you lose all your money on Prime Day.
right after you lose all your money on Prime Day.
Yeah.
And
Well,
buy,
I
buy
mean, I
all
won't
the
lose my
Prime
money.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, I guess if they have a PlayStation 5, I might pick something up
I
in
hope,
Prime
dude.
Day.
Yeah.
Dum-dum.
Tyler's
Yeah, it's not
Tyler's
gonna
in,
happen.
dude. We got Tyler in
Waiting. Yeah.
deep.
Yeah. So, and then real quick, the only other thing I wanted to touch on, well, two things. One, No Man's Sky is very, very good still.
I've never played that game.
They just came out with yet another update that just completely redid all the visuals. So now there's like lighting changes and shadows and reflections, and everything just looks way, way better.
Wasn't that another game that was a disaster on launch?
Disaster.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how, like, Arkham Knight seemed like a masterpiece compared to that game,
Yikes.
performance wise.
Big yikes.
Yeah, it was really, really rough.
Well, I thought the whole issue was like people felt like they were misleading them when they were talking about like what the game actually was.
Yeah, going back and looking at a lot of those interviews, I would challenge some of that. I think that the videos they put out were misleading
Okay.
because I think all the videos, they just got to the point where what the game looks like now looks better than the initial video.
Okay.
But
How old
it's
is the game?
2016, I think.
I thought you were going to say
It's-
20 years old. I was
No.
like,
Oh, no, not that,
no,
not
I
that
don't think
old.
so.
No. I think
2016,
2016,
okay.
maybe 17.
Yeah. So like five.
It's been
five
a
or six,
while.
Or 5 or
Yeah.
4. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
But holy cow, it's a completely different game. It's amazing. So special shout out to that. They did bring the Normandy in. I did get that. It
You
looks
have to.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then I played Biomutant. And Biomutant, I know you guys haven't played it yet, and honestly probably shouldn't, unfortunately.
Dude, I don't even know. Is that like a franchise? I don't know what
No,
that is.
it's a brand new game.
It's a new game. Okay.
It's been touted since 2017.
Oh, that's
and
what you were
they
telling
showed
me.
this in E3, and it's this kind of like weird, think like a fox raccoon, I don't know, animal hybrid that
I'm with you.
has like mutant powers, right? And
Obviously.
when I was looking at this game, this is my fault because I didn't research it well enough before just going all in on it. I wanted a palate cleanser from all the Final Fantasies and Mass Effects and all the RPG stuff. Biomutant is a RPG as RPG.
Rip.
It is a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of like there's some action sequences here and there. Like there's some gunplay and melee and stuff. None of it really feels particularly good. Like I'm playing with a controller and it snaps to people. Like whenever you're aiming the gun, like it's not like you can actually aim a gun and stuff. And it's by like a 20-person studio. So on one hand, I get it. It's not like a super polished game. It looks great, but it has some rough edges, which is fine. But they're also charging $60 for it. So you're kind of weighing the thing of, people are trying to give it extra slack because it's a small studio.
I feel like if you're a small studio at that point, how much was Hades? Was that 60?
No,
That was 40.
Hades, I think, was 25. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Like,
Right. But that's
what's
the thing.
what's the better game?
Hades.
Because
That's not even
don't they have like wasn't Hades like a indie small company?
Yeah, but
right?
but see, that's the thing,
Same-
and that's
same
what
kind of
people are
thing?
saying. If you're going to go on the shelf and put your game up for $60, then
You gotta get $60,
You are
yeah.
going to be basically reviewed against other games of that
AAA,
caliber.
yeah.
So you're
Right.
talking your Call of Duties, your
Yes.
Destinies, your Assassin's Creed, whatever, because you can't say that a customer needs to be in the know of, oh, this is a small studio, so I need to give it
Right.
more slack
Yeah,
and things
absolutely.
like that. They look at the price tag.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
They did make some interesting like design choices. So I'm assuming because it's a small studio, they just have one narrator that narrates everything you do. It's kind of like Hades, but every character you talk to just kind of mumbles. So like if I talk to you, John, and I say, "Hey, John, what's up?" and you're just like, then you have to go through that. Then the narrator comes on and says, "He says he's doing fine." And then you mumble some more. But you have to, it's almost like you're sitting through two sets of dialogue.
That sounds awful.
It's very annoying.
Dude, it's like
Just
like
very, very annoying.
originally that would be like classic RPG where they mumble and then there's a speech bubble.
But at least put it over top of it. If you want to mumble, and while he's mumbling, the narrator's talking over
That
top
would
of
be
him
bad
and stuff.
too.
It would be bad, but I could at least stomach that versus having to sit through some mumbling and then have, like, you're
Wouldn't
constantly
it be better
slamming,
just
like, the A
to
button.
he's mouthing
Something.
and then the narrator's just talking like he says this. Well,
Yeah.
he's just mouthing, but he's not making noise.
It
right?
would be. It would
Yeah.
be. And again, I understand why they did it. I think it's a clever solution for I would assume a budget problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It does not work. And
No,
it
that's
just,
terrible.
Nothing
You're
feels
doubling the
good
length.
enough. Yeah.
That sounds kind of rough.
And then me and designer and being a UI and stuff. It's like it has a very certain aesthetic in the world, and then when you go to the menus, it looks like a straight up Fortnite clone. It's very bizarre. Or even maybe not Fortnite, but if you're thinking like a Plants vs Zombies looking UI.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm probably never going to play that game
Doesn't
again,
match,
unfortunately.
yeah, rough.
Again, looks great, but man, it was not what I was
After that many
was
years
wanting.
too, that's kind of disappointing.
It is pretty disappointing. Now, granted, like a bunch of other games, like No Man's Sky, if they keep at it, if they change some things, I just don't know what they could change to like drastically
It's
improve
just a
it.
fundamental problem.
Yeah, I think so.
More at the base. Yeah, that's pretty tough.
But I would have said the same thing about No Man's Sky, and No Man's Sky is phenomenal. Right
Well,
now.
I think they had the groundwork for that game. Like the idea was good. You know
Sure.
what I mean? It was pretty bare bones. Like it was lacking, but you can build on top of that. Whereas what you're talking about seems more like, what are they going to do? Completely overhaul the conversation system? Or
Yeah, and I don't know why
you can do the menu, but
like I don't know why I had this in my head that you just start off as like let's say a regular fox, and if you run into a certain enemy and you kill the enemy, then you gain some sort of new ability that eventually you just break the game because of how you play it, and you get all these different abilities that
You're
synchronize
so
with each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like there's a game called Rad that it never really took off. It was kind of like a top-down Bastion looking game. I thought it was going to be something along those lines, and it was wrong. And again, a lot of that is on me for not researching it enough.
yeah.
But that was a bummer. I was hoping that would be like
I was talking about earlier. You get expectations on
Yeah.
what you think the game is. That's really tough to mitigate. I mean, that's not the studio's fault. I mean, in this case, it sounds like maybe the
Sure.
game's not as good as it could be, but you know what I mean. you think the game's one thing. I think No Man's Sky is another example of that. Everyone got it in their head that it was a certain thing.
Oh, yeah.
And even if like what you were saying is true, like the interviews weren't as misleading as people were saying. You know, once people like start hearing what they want to hear, it gets really tough.
Well, you got to think in that time frame, people are hearing No Man's Sky. They're also hearing Star Citizen. Now, Star Citizen
Oh god.
still is not out. Still never probably coming out. People want that type of large space exploration with
Are they making
friends,
money on
sort
that?
of thing. Oh, they're making so much money.
Just not
Star
having it out.
Citizen, yeah, so much money.
That might be the biggest scam I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Don't they like sell ships or something?
Oh yeah, no, I have a ship. It's a freelancer ship.
Yeah, but you had to pay on top of your Kickstarter fee for that, correct?
No, it was a one-time charge of, I don't know, like $112 or something.
What?
Like that. Yeah. John, if I
is
could
wrong
tell
with
you,
you,
if I
dude?
could tell you that you are buying a ship like you're friggin' Han Solo,
Okay.
and I'm just going to be a smuggler.
Yeah.
I'm going it. And this is a thing, and I wish we had honestly Ryan so he could be like, look, if you were to tell me, hey, remember everything great about Star Wars Galaxies, and now it's going to look better, and it's going to be bigger, and it's going to be just more like tactile, and like this game, you literally like get out and like you actually have to like press each individual button on an elevator and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like it's like you live that life.
Dude, I love
So
that
there was
shit.
this game
Yeah.
that came out in like the early 2000s that you had to do that, and it did not go over well.
Which one are we? What were you talking about?
What's it called? Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodlines.
Oh, well, I mean,
I don't know what that
maybe
was.
they're
Yeah,
coming out
you
with a
haven't
sequel to
played
that.
I think you would like it if you got like because you like the old PS2 games and you're willing to forgive those flaws.
Yep.
You would hate it.
I'm sure I would. I hate pretty much every video game.
Going back to Grandia, I feel like I'm going to be very forgiving. Like, I can go back and play PS1 games and, like, I don't care that they look shitty.
Yeah, and
You know?
I can be forgiving in the same way with like even Final Fantasy. Like I think I was.
Yeah, I guess it was more
I-
technical aspects, like the
Yeah.
combat system and
Like I
some
think
of
the combat system was even fine. It was just like there's a lot in there that has aged poorly or that the
Yeah.
controls aren't
That's
great and
fine.
things like that. I think
Yeah.
the one thing with Grandia is you are going to be getting the remaster that was in the time of Dreamcast, so you'll actually be able to use a controller properly and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
right.
it'll
That
be
was a
interesting to
big
see
thing,
kind
too.
of the difference there. 'Cause, I mean, Final Fantasy was 97, and then Grandia was 2001,
Yeah.
3, something
something
like
like that.
that.
Yeah. Anyways, I might like that game. The what was it? Vampire.
Yeah, Bloodlines.
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy it. It's neat, but at the
You
same
were
time-
comparing it to Star Citizen, where like it's very.
Oh no! I was
role-play.
making a joke. Well, it is, but whenever you go into like an elevator, you actually have to like mouse over the button
yeah.
that you want to hit, and like,
Dude, I like that. Like, I'll tell you this: the way I play Cyberpunk, like people would think I'm fucking crazy. Like, I literally, when I go back to my apartment, I will park every one of my cars in the garage.
Sure. Will you like walk or do you run? Like, do you actually like walk?
I
and
I
try
walk
to, like-
everywhere.
yeah.
Walk everywhere.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like I'm a fucking person.
Yep.
And it takes me forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, because like in the game you can call your car.
Right.
So you never have to like worry about where it is. I will go through every one of my cars and put it in the garage. And I have like 7 now. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking crazy. But it's like, dude, it's so baller. Like I wake up, go out of my apartment, down the elevator, and here's my fucking set of cars, dude. I'm like rich as fuck now.
Yeah, you have a routine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Go to the cafe. I'll buy a fucking smoothie, even though I don't need the
Well,
HP.
that's what I'm saying with No Man's Sky. You can do the same thing where you
Yeah.
bust out of hyperspace or whatever, and like here's your frigate, and then here's all these freighters that are just like popping in, and you have a story for each one
Yeah.
of some that you rescued, some that you found, some that you won off, whatever, like a space battle or something like that.
Yeah.
and it's
I like
really,
the
really
immersion.
cool.
I think it's
Yeah.
fun. I mean, for me. I mean, but here's the thing. I think there's a ton of people who think that would be so fucking boring. Like they want to fast travel
Absolutely.
everywhere. They want to just shoot people, and I don't
And
know.
I mean,
it's
with
tough.
Cyberpunk, it accommodates both technically,
Kinda.
kinda.
Kinda. I mean, yeah, I guess it does, but I don't know. I won't get into that. I had fun with it though. I thought it was a good game. Like I liked the story. Story was interesting to me. I guess it didn't hit for everyone though. I don't know. I guess it was like mixed on that.
Yeah, I think it was a
Ba-
lot
based
more
off-
technical. It was way more technical aspects than.
Well, no,
than
I know
anything
that
else.
I know that I was just talking. Maybe a lot of people didn't get that far because they couldn't. Right.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, like I think the game itself was fine. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I beat it. I think it was like 36-ish hours.
You just did the main quest. You didn't do any side
No,
missions.
I did a lot of side stuff. Not everything, but I did enough of what I thought was interesting.
Well, there's like two versions of side quests. Like there's the
See,
semi-random
I wish
events.
they did better with that because I think the issue that I had was you have side missions,
Yeah.
but they're all the same in terms of like the hierarchy of something, right? So if you have something that's like, hey, this is a side mission, but it's also a big story and it's going to take you
Yeah.
an hour and a half to complete, versus here's a side mission, go pick up chicken nuggets and give them to.
That's
this
my
person
favorite
or
mission,
something.
though.
Yeah, well, sure, it's a great mission, but
Dude,
when I'm-
chicken nuggets, man. Like, you should use a better example. That's all I'm
okay,
gonna say.
well, it's like picking up the sword with the Office reference and stuff like that. I don't know if did you catch the Office one where you have to like you talk to some like Asian guy and he's like in China I was a heart surgeon. No,
Wait, what?
Am I crazy here? Okay,
Isn't that one of the main guys?
I don't think it was one of the main guys. It was a side mission.
Probably. I don't remember.
Yeah, someone would.
Yeah,
I don't
someone's gonna know.
Anyway,
Anyways,
do we want to
Sorry.
take a quick break and then we'll come back with some news? Sound good?
yeah, it sounds good to me.
Awesome. That's what we got to do is just have Nate be
Yeah,
this
you
guy.
got to be on top of that.
Yeah.
You didn't get the bell thing that I asked you about.
I told you to. I told you to. I told you to give me the bell.
Oh,
You just have to give it
Whoops.
to me, and I'll put it
Okay.
on there. I don't
okay.
know what bell you're thinking of.
Well, how do I get just a YouTube clip, or
yeah, just
where do I get it
point,
from?
Point me in the right direction of what kind of bell sound you want.
You want me to
I'll
record a
put it-
bell sound for you?
No, I mean you can if you want.
I
don't
could.
care. All right, do it.
Don't test me.
Do it and set it
I
over.
will.
I only accept WAV format.
Well, that's what you're gonna get.
Oh, good.
So, fuck
Good-
you.
Good luck emailing that to me.
I
It's
will
very high.
carrier pigeon it to you.
Okay,
about
what
that.
bit rate are we talking? Anyway, welcome back. We're gonna do some news.
I was gonna keep going.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna do some news. I want to
Yeah.
stick to our rigorous and regimented schedule. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it? We have it recording. I guess. Hopefully, great.
Yeah,
All
there's a
right.
red light.
What if I just turned it
Red
off?
light's good. We have like 5 red lights on there. That's probably fine. All right. So first news story. This actually came out last week, so we were off for Memorial Day. But have you guys heard about the Nintendo Switch?
Refresh me.
Okay, so Nintendo came out with a handheld called Nintendo Switch, and originally it was this thing that you had handheld and then you could dock it and it goes up on the screen.
Is that like the Wii U?
It's kind of like the Wii U, but like the next evolution, the next generation of it.
Not awful.
It's not. I mean, the Wii U was kind of like the Dreamcast of its time. This is ahead of its time.
Wasn't the Dreamcast good?
Dreamcast was good. I think the Wii U was pretty good too, personally.
I
but that's not what we're here for. We're here for
think you'll get a
the
debate
Nintendo
on
Switch.
that.
Anyway, so Nintendo did the Nintendo Switch. They also came out with the Nintendo Switch Lite, which did not dock to anything, but it was all on the screen. Think of it as like the next generation of like the Game Boy,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So now there are 2 news stories. One, and we'll actually put Nintendo first since we're talking about them. They're rumored to be coming out with a Nintendo Switch Pro. That rumor's been going around for quite some time. It's rumored to be on June 13th, which is so it's E3 week coming up next week. They're rumored to be announcing that at the conference, and hopefully, given with all the semiconductor shortage and things like that, it might actually release as early as this year for holiday. What is the Switch Pro? Well, that's going to replace the one that's docked. It's going to have a 7-inch screen. I think right now it's a 6.2-inch screen. It's going to be OLED. It's going to have a better battery. It can go 4K whenever it's docked, that sort of thing. All well and good. Now, have you heard of Valve? The
Refresh
company?
me.
So, Valve, owner of the Steam platform, makers of things like the Steam Link or the Steam controller.
Or that one game that you forgot that came out 9 years ago, but people are still asking for the third one.
Half-Life 3?
Portal 3? Team Fortress 3?
And Left 4 Dead 3.
Okay. Any one of those.
Are they allergic to that number? or-
Apparently.
Yeah.
What I would argue is the bigger rumor is that they are coming out with something called codename Steam Pal.
Half-Life 3?
Half-Life 3, hopefully.
Yep, confirmed.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
so
you heard it here first.
SteamDB who it's a terrible site because it shows you everything that you've bought and how much you played and how much you paid, and
That must be
it's
depressing.
very depressing
Yeah.
for certain people.
Won't name any names, but
But they went through the
Mine looks
latest.
great. It makes
they-
me super happy.
Yeah, sure. Okay. They went through the latest Steam client updates, and they were combing through all the data combing as one does, and they uncovered some stuff with something called the Steam PAL. So the rumor with this is it's going to be like a Switch. It's not dockable, at least that's what people are saying, but it's going to be a handheld Switch. It's going to run Linux. It's going to have your controllers and all sorts of different like attachments and things like that. No keyboards, which was weird. Like there's no mention of that. But they were also saying like there might be a new controller, codenamed Neptune, and all this stuff. But I want to get your guys' takes on,
How hot of garbage it's going to be.
how hot of garbage is going to be. Is that something you guys would even be interested in? Now let's say that it's not a Steam Link thing. Let's say that this is like a Switch, like you can actually put not Nintendo games on it. Well, hey, you might be able to mod it, but is it something that you would do where you could actually, put games on it to play on the go, which theoretically you're playing all your Windows games on it and you don't have to have a Nintendo Switch? Do you think there's a market for that? Do you think this is going to be something like the Steam Link where, Valve tries it, it kind of fails a little bit, and then they kind of just shutter it? One thing real quick to lend credit to that is Gabe Newell, who's the head of Valve, was at a college doing a speech, and somebody asked him, hey, are you going to come out with like console games? Bring over, Valve's collection of the console. Let me bring up his quote. And it says, you will get a better idea of that by the end of this year, and it won't be the answer you expect. So I would say it's probably likely that they will have some sort of
I think there's rumors going
handheld and
around
stuff like that.
Xbox and Steam are going to be doing a thing together.
that's cool.
That's been the rumor. The rumor was Xbox would buy Steam at one point.
Whoa.
They
just
play.
That'd be big.
kicked their CEO out. So I mean,
Well, yeah, sure, but
they're saving a bunch of money now.
it's true.
And I'm sure Gabe can only stay awake for so long anymore. So
Poor Gabe. I'm sure he's fine. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. I thought that was something that, me personally, if I'm thinking about playing, games, and I would hope that they have like a streaming feature, because I think Steam Link, for all its flaws, I think it worked pretty well.
I
Like, Nate,
played
you
like
had one,
half
right?
of Persona. No, I'm talking like, have you used their new app yet?
Yeah, on the iOS.
Yeah, I've played like half of Persona 4 while like getting ready for bed as Abby's reading The Witcher.
Yeah.
And it works out flawlessly. I don't think I tried playing Rocket League on it once just to see what a online game was like, and it is hot garbage. But what do you expect? That's why we don't hear anything about Stadia anymore.
Yeah, Stadia's. We won't
Yikes.
go there. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, when you're trying to develop something like this, your first thought should be, is it going to be better than the Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to hit a different market than the Switch? What separates us from them? At least they should be saying this. You know what I mean? Why
Right.
would you buy this over a Switch? To me, there's just no world where it's going to be as successful. Maybe that's not what they're going for, but like, Switch is just, for what it is, it hits the perfect market. You know what I mean? You're getting all these Nintendo games. You get to go on the go. I mean, that screams like really kid friendly to me, right? You're playing it in the back of the car when you're going on a trip or whatever, right? I just don't think, and like the Switch is really well optimized as far as I'm aware. Like I don't have one, but everyone seems really happy with it, right? Like it runs really well and things like that.
Largely speaking, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
now, like, if you could do that, though, but then have, like, more powerful hardware and
Yeah.
then bring all the quote unquote, more adult games over.
To be honest, though, when are you going to use it?
That's what I'm saying. Like the market for that. When do you play games on the go? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess what my question is, let's say you're on a road trip and you have an option between a Switch or a Steam Pal, and they do virtually the same thing. It's just your library that would be different. For me, it would be like, okay, well, I would bring my Steam library with me over the Switch library. Most of the games that I play on Switch, so I'm talking like Civilization, Diablo, things like that, I had to rebuy those games on Switch. Hades is another one. Like
Right.
I'm rebuying those games on Switch because
makes
I
sense.
want to play them mobile.
Yeah.
But now to think that I could bring over, and granted, I mean, a lot of this is rumor. A lot of we don't know.
Yeah. I
everything,
mean,
right? So
theoretically, right? Yeah.
how many games, are part of that? Like, is it your entire library? If I can bring all 1,500 of my games over and have them portable, that'd be awesome. I think that would actually be really, really cool. Where you're not trying to rebuy. Like I bought Final Fantasy VII on the Switch because originally I wanted to play it there, but I ended up playing on PC, and now I'm never going to touch my Switch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Where I would actually be very excited for it, and then depending on how their controller is, because for me, if they try to do like a Steam pad thing, like how they came out with that Steam controller, which I thought was very bad. I thought that felt just awful. If they do something like that, then I'm out. I don't need that. Granted, they just got sued for $4 million because they infringed on a patent for that thing, so
Yikes.
probably not going to use it.
Well, I just think there's not a lot of circumstances like you where you have a million games. I mean, there's a lot of people with a million games on Steam, but like I said, I just don't see a practical application for it.
Especially like in this world too. I feel like maybe you'd have that guy who's like, okay, well, I take the bus to work every day, but so many jobs now, people aren't traveling.
Right? Oh,
for
yeah,
work.
that's a good point.
Like, I'll be honest with you, the only time my Switch ever traveled was when I was traveling for work and had nothing to do, and it was a choice between the Nintendo Switch or hotel TV.
Yeah, right. And I don't know. To me, it's like, what's the market? I don't see a market for it. I don't know. I mean, people would try it. There's people out there like you who will maybe give that a shot.
I mean, even Nate, like you were saying how you were in bed on your phone. Like, let's say something like a Steam Pal exists, and let's say it's relatively like if it's like an exorbitant amount of money, then yeah, like they have an uphill battle there.
So let's be realistic. Steam Link came out at like what, $150?
Yeah, sure.
So let's throw a screen on that. Let's call it cheap 300. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That would be about the same price as a Nintendo Switch.
I take one of the Apple products that I already own, use the free Steam Link app, and it does the same thing, and I'm happy.
Yep.
Yeah, if it does the same thing. What I'm saying is if Steam Pal is nothing but a streaming thing, I'm right there with you. Like, I 100% agree because that's no different
What
than
you're
if you
saying
just put it
is
in there.
the hard. I understand that you're saying the hard drive on the device lets you download your game and then continue playing from like where you're at, kind of like how your Divinity save from Divinity Original Sin. You can install the game on your Switch. It'll copy over your Steam save, and you can continue playing regardless if you have an online connection or not, as long as you refreshed your game before traveling, right? So let's say it's the same kind of deal, and your games are seamless, and you can continue your saves. I would honestly rather just find something else to do than pay $300 for the 7 minutes I'm going to play that game while it's on the go.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, and that's valid. I'm just saying, me personally, if I could take my 2 Switches that I have and sell them and just
Why do you have 2 Switches, dude?
Chelsea bought me one because the Switch Lite feels so much better than the normal
That's
Switch.
hilarious.
Yeah. If I could sell those and get like a Steam ballot, so clearly I'm the only one excited here for the Steam ballot.
Yeah,
That's totally fine.
Here's the thing, dude. If
down with
I'm
that.
traveling, I have a gaming laptop. Are you going to tell me that?
Yeah,
That's
and-
gonna be
and
better?
Again, that's completely
No.
valid. Like my whole thing is like there are plenty of times where I'm looking to rebuy games on my Switch because I
Yes,
think it would
that's
be
that's
great.
the one circumstance
portable.
where that makes sense. But I don't think there's enough of those people who care. Like,
mean, we'll see,
what's the
yeah.
demand on playing Rocket League in bed or in a hotel?
Well, what's the demand of Switch? I think that's the thing is
Because your audience is like, I'm assuming that the most people who have a Switch, that's their only console.
oh, see,
Not even
I
then.
actually don't agree with that.
It's
Personally,
nice
but
whenever your
You think
kid's
Switches
sitting,
are people's like secondary console
100%
mainly?
yes. Yep.
I would love to see the numbers on it.
unless you're Josh. They're the Josh people. There are, so going back to the original Disney Nintendo, there are Nintendo kids,
Yes.
and there are Disney kids that grow into Nintendo adults and Disney adults. And
Yeah, like Josh, exactly.
And
Like
Josh is a Nintendo adult. He eats, sleeps, and breathes Nintendo only. Like, he has a gaming PC. He plays Dark Souls on it. For some reason, that was like the game that got him hooked. And then the moment Dark Souls came out on Switch, he hasn't touched that PC to play that game. Doesn't matter that the game's uglier. He can sit there with his Switch, see the little Nintendo logo come up and feel good about himself. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
still
that's something to be said for that. I think that's totally fine.
there's still Nintendo kids today. Like, I feel like there's a lot of kids where that's their console. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I would be interested
Well,
to see
now
the
I'm
numbers.
now I'm super excited
Yeah.
for the holiday. I hope that the chip shortage. I mean, granted, that's supposed to go into 2022 now, is what Sony's saying. So that'll be interesting.
yeah, my other hobby's supposed to be affected to like 2024, 2025.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. But at least you get the
Yikes.
the resale value on.
that's true.
On what?
The resale value, it holds its value better than the Nintendo Switch will.
What, Sniper Monkeys?
Yeah, Sniper Monkeys.
So when I was putting these news articles down, Nvidia's rumor of the 3080 Ti was coming out. Now, at the point,
It did come out.
it did.
I
Good luck finding it.
Googled the night before to see what Best Buys in our area were going to have it. The only one within Pennsylvania that was listed on Best Buy's website was in Erie, PA. There was one Best Buy in Pennsylvania
Those poor people.
that had the 3080 Ti, and you clicked on. They had a link, and you clicked on it, and it took you to that like area's website, and it had like their rules and how they were going to be handing out the cards and the purchasing limits and everything. There was no way, unless like you lived in that area or like knew about this the day before that website went up that
Right.
you were getting one.
It's a shame, honestly. Like it. I mean, so the rumor at the time, it was like, oh, it's going to be about $1,000,
$1,200.
$1,200. Yeah, for that card. Now, for
And I
frame of
heard
reference,
it's doubled, right?
for
The OG 3080 was like $699.
yeah.
And I heard you don't get nearly as much like a performance boost out of it.
It's right in the middle between the 3080 and then the 3090. So the 3090 is $300 more. At a $1,500 price point. Now it does have double the VRAM. The problem is when you're looking at like the benchmarks and things like that, you're only looking at like maybe like 10 frames max difference for the different benchmarks I saw. So like you're not getting a huge performance bump.
But yeah, you're spending an extra like $800.
Yeah, it's not worth the price increase.
And
right?
that's kind of where people are at now. So now people are just salty where like that's in there. They're paying way more for it for not a great price bump, and you still can't get the 3080s. So
yeah.
it's a shame.
Just get a pre-built.
Yes, a lot of manufacturers are already updating the pre-builds to 3080s for sure, and then 3080s.
So they can sell the refurbished
Yes.
3080s.
So you guys played Borderlands 3. Nate, you played it. I played it. John, you did not. One of the reasons why I played it was they were talking about crossplay. Everyone was saying, hey, we'll have Borderlands crossplay in the near future. It's been quite some time since Borderlands 3 came out, and they are finally getting to the crossplay. However, Randy Pitchford, who is the CEO, I guess, of Gearbox, did tweet out and said that while there will be crossplay, PS4 and PS5 are now nixed from that plan, which I thought was super interesting. So taking a step back, have you guys been following any of the Epic and Apple disputes and things like that between those two companies?
Yeah.
You know?
Refresh me.
Refresh you? All right. So Apple's terms of service, they want a 30% cut of stuff that goes on their app store, right? So they
Well,
want...
is it just the App Store, or they want a 30% cut of all sales that can be done through the App Store
Correct.
because of... Okay, good.
Like
Yeah.
in-app purchases.
It's
and-
in-app purchases and stuff. So everything
Well, I
that
thought
everything you purchase
even-
through an app has to be through Apple. It can't be through Epic's storefront.
Well, I thought the deal was it was either all through Apple or they got a percentage of all of Epic's sales outside of Apple included.
So you're thinking of Sony's deal, and we will get to that.
Okay.
But so what happened with Apple and Epic is Apple is saying everything has to go through their storefront. What Epic did is, knowing this and knowing it's a breach of contract, they uploaded an update. They let them circumvent Apple's like store. So you could go in, you could buy Fortnite, and this is all with Fortnite. You could buy Fortnite bucks and things like that, specifically through Epic, circumventing Apple. Apple doesn't get its cut. Apple said, "What the hell are you doing?" Knocked them off the Apple store, or the App Store and just cut all ties. They're just like, you're done. Like all your Epic stuff gone. Now Epic knew that was going to happen. They had a promo video ready to go like an hour after that happened. I'm making that up, but like within like 24 hours. Like they had it ready to go. They were doing this blast campaign against Apple because Epic, and similar to what they're doing with Steam, they're trying to push back against people and say, hey, developers deserve way more than you taking 30% of their profits. So what Epic's doing, I think they're down to 12% now, where if you release it on Epic, like the Epic Store, developers are only taking, like they're only taking 12% versus the 30% that Steam and Apple and everyone is taking. During these proceedings, we found out that PlayStation is very much against crossplay, like actively fighting against crossplay. And this is where what you were talking about, Nate, where if, like for something like Fortnite, Epic is literally paying Sony to get the crossplay going. And now they're only paying Sony. They're not paying Microsoft or Nintendo or anything like that. It's just Sony. And it's if, like the play hours and the profits that they're getting, if they don't hit 85%, they basically pay them royalties for the revenue that Sony says they're losing.
Yeah, so you're right. I was thinking about the wrong thing because the crappy thing about it is they're saying that because they're joining in crossplay, these are people who are not playing on their console, so therefore they should be compensated for allowing people to play with friends that aren't on PlayStation.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, for instance, in to Sony's point of view, I guess we should say, Sony's saying, look, if they're playing 80% of their time on PlayStation, but let's say they're on the road or they're in a car or whatever, and they're just buying stuff on like their iPhone. Not anymore because Apple banned it, but let's say they bought it mobile. Sony's not seeing any of that money, and that's why Sony doesn't like that. So
Makes
you
sense,
can
I
understand
guess.
that from a
Yeah.
business standpoint.
I mean,
But-
you can not be a dick.
But
You know,
there are
that's an option.
literal documents of back and forth about Sony being like, no, we don't want to do crossplay. Like, screw you, we're not doing it.
Well, that's been out in the open for a while. It's just people are actually starting to like go after them for it now.
Right. And Borderlands is the most recent one of these. And it's interesting because of all the backlash Sony has gotten for this stuff. And you think about things like Fortnite was the only one that I saw with that specific arrangement. So I don't know about Call of Duty and everything. And, maybe they pay for that stuff too. But
Oh, they definitely do.
probably. But when you think about it, and it's just like, okay, now you have Borderlands 3. It's an older game. I can't imagine you losing much revenue because it's not like a live game, right? Like it's not like you're going in like Fortnite and you're not going in like Call of Duty where you're constantly buying all these like extra packs and stuff like that. That's interesting to me that out of all the games, Borderlands 3 is the one that you're going to nix the crossplay on. Like I feel like that would be an easy win.
Maybe they're trying to make a stance with the least offensive property.
Maybe.
Like if you do that for Rocket League, there's going to be a huge blowback, right?
Could you
Right.
imagine? I think Activision and PlayStation have like an agreement now because I believe everything is still like PlayStation first for Call of Duty and stuff. But could you imagine if Sony ever did something and everybody was like, okay, you can play with your friends on PlayStation with Call of Duty, but everybody else can play together on any other platform? That would literally be like a nail in the coffin.
You would think. We'll
yeah,
see.
I don't know. Like
I'm not saying the
It's
coffin's
tough.
shut, but somebody's starting.
the problem is the exclusives they come out with sell consoles, man. Like
I mean, me personally, I didn't think Borderlands like set the world on fire. I'm looking at the numbers here. So Epic, I don't know if you remember, but Epic was paying Gearbox to have exclusive rights for that. So they paid $146 million to keep Borderlands 3 exclusive to them for 1 year. In the first 2 weeks, they made $110 million, which, sure, they're not recouping their entire cost in the first 2 weeks, but that's a lot of freaking money. But the interesting number here is they got 750,000 new users just because of that. So when people are complaining about like Epic buying all the exclusive rights and things like that, that's why they're doing it, is because they're trying to get people onto their platform and whatnot, which I thought was
And if their
super
platform
interesting.
worked better, I'd probably still have it installed.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's fair, right? Like, I think Steam is king right now for a reason.
Yeah.
But
I just don't
we'll see.
like how things work like that, man. I mean, it's the same problem with streaming platforms, when you have to get like the rights to things.
Yeah.
Like, I wish in a perfect world there'd be one place where you can get anything you want.
That's called a monopoly.
And I don't like monopolies, but in that circumstance, doesn't that would be so much better? Because in that circumstance, it's a little bit different because like if there was like one fast food place,
Sure.
there's only so many Big Macs I can eat.
So what I like to think about that is almost like think about it as a mall, right? Where you have one building, aka one launcher, and you have all
Exactly.
the different storefronts in there,
Yes.
and you can go and shop, and they can compete with each other.
That's
And I think
that's a
that
better
would-
analogy, yeah.
And that would drive a lot of competition too, because if Epic started doing their sale, so Epic does a sale now where you buy anything, and technically that counts their free game. So if you buy their, well, quote unquote, buy their free game on Thursday, they give you a $10 coupon to use in the sale. And every subsequent game you buy, you just keep getting another $10 coupon, $10. So like they're always giving you $10 off a game during their entire sale. That's
nice.
a little bit different than Sony, or not Sony, Steam. Steam's just giving you those discounts, and it is what it is.
Right.
But imagine if you had that one thing, and GOG kind of did it with their GOG Galaxy, but like some people played nicer than others with it. So it's still launching another like launcher to then launch your game.
Maybe Uplay does deserve to be on that top 10 list of worst companies.
I mean, it's an option.
I hate that.
right?
I hate having to launch two things.
From a business standpoint and a branding standpoint, I understand it, but the thing that irks me is when they kind of say like for gamers by gamers, or we just jump in or play or whatever all these other
Yeah.
taglines are. At the end of the day, as much as Sony wants to say that they're they hit the nail on the head with the PS4 when they were launching it, and the Xbox One was getting just hammered for all the missteps that they were doing whenever it first came out. And Sony was showing them as like, we're the best console, we're for games, gaming only for gamers. And then you look at all these kind of like backroom dealings of like, oh no, we're not going to do crossplay or screw
Yeah.
them or anything like that.
Okay, so here's the question I have. Like, obviously, there's a ton of money when it comes into these things, right? So they're doing a ton of analytics on it, right?
Sure.
So are they calculating, is it a better business decision to be a dick and not want to do crossplay things of that nature that'll piss people off, but they're, saving money, quote unquote? Or would it be more financially, I mean, it would be hard to, because they haven't gone through with it, but like, allowing crossplay, things like that, allowing your game on Steam, you don't have to go through our launcher, like being more friendly to gamers, would that actually, net a positive,
so
through your like
we're going to leave this
reputation.
open to the window of imagination, as not to get too crazy here, but just think about the past 10 years of your life and marketing and the way the social climate's been changing and the way the political climate's been changing, and notice especially around times like right now how a lot of company logos are changing and all this other stuff. Do you think that all of the companies that are doing these things are doing this because they stand behind certain political standpoints? Do you think they're doing it because if they don't, people will stop spending money there?
See, that's a tough question because, I mean, obviously I would think they've done some sort of calculation on how much money they're going to lose, whether they change their logo or not.
There's a thing that's gone around recently where there are some companies, and if you look up their logos based on regions, like using like a VPN or just like going online and, checking different websites out, there are certain countries where they have their logo updated, and then certain countries where they do not have their logo updated because of the political climate.
Makes
They're
sense.
not trying to make a positive statement worldwide. They're trying to make a positive statement where the people will spend money because you're making a positive statement.
Yeah, and like you would like to think that they do have conviction on certain, and sure some companies do, right?
Sure.
But when you and I'm not saying this for specifically Ubisoft, but like for things like Ubisoft or like Riot, where they've gone under fire with misconduct allegations and different things like that too. How much of that is damage control? How much of that is no, we are
for
taking
sure.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see that, but are you saying because
So think about it this way: Sony is still in like the dark age, right, where things have not started to come to light to the point where people are making enough of, like, there's not enough conversation around the topic yet for Sony to be worried about losing people, losing profits, losing customers to their stance on things. Epic is that first, big group gathering where somebody's like, okay, yeah, something bad really did happen. And now if it continues to snowball, it'll be to the point where we're in the climate we are today, and Sony is the bad guy. Not to put those issues on the same level, but it's a pretty good analogy for, where this is at and where these people are trying to go with it.
Yeah, it's the peer pressure thing, it's the popularity thing of, where the public sentiment is. And granted, like, PlayStation won a huge landslide for PS4, and Xbox was clawing back, but by the time they got to a point with, like, Game Pass and everything else, it was too little too late, and then we had the next generation, where Sony is still technically top dog. I mean, if you go onto any Reddit forum, Twitter, whatever, the moment somebody posts a PlayStation game or an Xbox game or something, you're going to have all the fanboys go in and just start flaming back and forth and back and forth. I'm sure, to your point, John, there is some sort of line somewhere in some Sony whiteboard where they're just like, okay, if sentiment falls below this line, we flip the switch on, I don't know, Borderlands 3 crossplay.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Like
obviously, like, money is going to be the ultimate factor, but to me, like, I guess their philosophy to me seems like, we're so confident in our product that we can make a hard stance on.
Or they're so far ahead, they're saying, like, hey, look at our market share versus Xbox. Why do we need to do crossplay?
They think that not doing crossplay will result in more profit for them, right? Like, what other factor is there?
Sure.
It's not a
and right now,
it's not a moral thing. You know what I mean?
And right now, I would argue that they are correct. It's easy for Xbox to say, "Hey, we want to play with everyone. We want to be one big happy family."
When you're
second
people are
place.
turning it into a moral issue, and
well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Look, I love crossplay, right? Like, I love the idea of jumping in on PC, being able to play with anyone. We've played with plenty of our friends on console and PC with Call of Duty, and it's great and it's fun. No Man's Sky has that now.
It's the only way I can play with my brother.
Yeah, and I think more companies, more games absolutely need to do that. That needs to become standard, but it's tough. It's a tough thing to come to something like Borderlands 3 that's been out. It's not a new game. It's not setting the world on fire. There's no.
Here's the thing that I don't understand from Sony, though. It's like the games that are going to be crossplay are obviously on other consoles. So, like, what are you worried about?
Well, the
like,
thing is,
someone's going to buy a PlayStation because they can't crossplay? Like, I don't understand.
Or someone, like, let's say we have 10 friends and you're playing Call of Duty together.
Yeah.
8 of them are on PlayStation, and they're all playing together, and you have 2 people on Xbox. Now, if it's crossplay, people can buy an Xbox, play with you, and there's no problem. Everyone's happy.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's 8 players and they're all playing together, and 2 people have Xboxes and they can't play with their 8 friends, and there is no crossplay, then it's like, well, crap, I guess I gotta go buy a PlayStation. And that's how
many
you have multiple
scenarios
consoles.
where they actually buy a PlayStation?
Who knows? I mean,
I don't know.
I've definitely bought
They must do the
multiple
math on
consoles
this,
and
right?
stuff to
They
play
must-
with different people.
They must make projections on this kind of stuff.
That's
I
what
would
I
like to
mean.
think.
There's got to be a line somewhere for that stuff. I just thought it was interesting, specifically on the Borderlands 3 front, that we're still having this conversation. The difference is now developers are being very open about that kind of stuff. So just to go and tweet it and say, "Hey guys, we're doing crossplay, but sorry, Sony is saying no."
wouldn't you?
Like they're literally saying, like, "Hey, we have," because, well, you don't want to damage your relationship with those big studios too, right? So that's the thing, is if you damage your relationship with Sony, you burn that bridge. But the interesting part is now it's, to Nate, your point with the socially acceptable thing, is like now it's socially acceptable to put them on blast because everyone's doing it, or it's such a common thing that.
Well, you're not the bad guy in this scenario. I mean, there's no
Right.
downside to doing that. I guess you can burn a bridge with Sony, but what are they going to do? Like, not let your new game come out on their console? Like, that's just going to make things worse for them.
Or make it tougher whenever you try to put. I'm making this up. But let's say you want to put an update through, and they make it tougher to get through CIRC or something like that. Like, who knows? But if you look at all the different documents that Sony has about fighting against the cross platform, it seems like they'll play some hardball, right? So
Yeah, no, they always have.
and it's tough to talk about who wins this generation and everything because you have all Sony's games that they're showing, but like nothing's really out. Like Sony's put some good games out on PlayStation 5 for sure, and Xbox is really diving into the Game Pass side of things. But in terms of who wins the generation and things like that, who knows? We have such a huge shortage of consoles. Like,
Yeah, it's impossible to tell.
Exactly, it's impossible to see. I read it online that there's the same amount of PS5s technically in Circ right now that there were PS4s around the same time. Hard for me to believe, but if that's true, then you got to look at the demand.
Doesn't the game become who can get their consoles out faster at that point?
You would think so.
Then,
yeah, for
then
sure.
maybe quality. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like, do you try to find something? I mean, granted, like that's not like you'd have to invent like a whole new way of doing a console because it's semiconductors, right? Like that's the shortage. So like, good luck with that.
Yeah. But if you find a way to,
I thought it was interesting.
Find them.
And then just one other thing on Sony, they did announce Uncharted 4. They didn't announce it to any type of fanfare or anything. It was literally just a logo on a slide during their investor review. So they just said, like, other games coming out this year, and it just had Days Gone and it had Uncharted 4. So apparently Uncharted 4 is coming to PC, just as a quick note.
Did you like that series?
I loved the story, characters, and acting. I love Nolan North. Nolan North is amazing. Troy Baker's great. Gameplay, no. I was very much a Tomb Raider guy. I played all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're just like I don't think The Last of Us is necessarily fun to play. I don't play those games for the gameplay personally.
Oh yeah,
which is why you can get behind Mass Effect 2.
Which is why I can get behind Mass Effect 2. I don't play Mass Effect
I don't think Last of Us gameplay was atrocious though.
I don't think Uncharted is atrocious. I'm just not playing it for that. I think gameplay wise, Tomb Raider was far superior.
Yeah,
Tomb Raider is the only one of that genre I was able to get through, and I played The Last of Us and Uncharted.
You didn't like Last of Us?
No, the story was neat. I watched like a recap, but I could not play through that game.
Do you guys watch E3? So E3 is coming up next week. It starts.
I won't be watching it. I'll be watching IGN's recaps.
Nice. Oh, that's fair. Do you watch it, John? Do you
not normally, but I was thinking we could do like something with it.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like watching, like talk over the stream.
Yeah,
that's like
people
the
do that all
cool
the time,
thing
right?
to do. Right? Yeah.
Well,
Games
you have
Spot,
to,
Giant
dude,
Bomb,
or else you
everyone
get
talks over it, and you have to do it.
DMCA'd, right?
Yeah.
Like when the music comes on, you have to make your commentary or whatever.
June 13th, I think that's a Sunday. Xbox is going to do their showcase for 90 minutes. The main thing here is the Bethesda stuff. So like Microsoft bought Bethesda. They're going to put that stuff out. The big rumor, it's still I think classified as a rumor, but their new game Starfield. So like the Elder Scrolls in space will be exclusive to Xbox, which is going to be huge. Which is maybe why people hate Microsoft right now on the Sony side, but. That will be very interesting to see that. To see like Fable, we haven't seen anything about Fable yet, short of the announcement. So we'll see kind of like that reboot of that series and stuff. Halo Infinite, stuff like that. So that's exciting. We're gonna check that out. BlizzCon canceled. Surprising no one. That's going to be in the early next year. So similar to what they did for like COVID for this year, where it was I think February. They'll do that again, but Diablo 4 probably not coming out this year then. That'll be a 2022 or later thing, just from that, because I cannot imagine them releasing Diablo before a BlizzCon.
No.
For something like that. One fun fact, Call of Duty permabanned 350,000 accounts this year alone for cheating and toxic behavior and racist names. Good for them. That's
there's the Call of Duty in a bag, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That is Call of Duty. So there are 4 people playing Call of Duty now. So if you want to, you can just go ahead and pick that up.
Dude, I learned all my swear words in a Call of Duty lobby.
One thing, Nate, that I saw, like we played a lot of Dying Light whenever it came out. I don't even know, like 2015, maybe.
I don't remember. All I remember is we found the Mario level. Found
the Mario. Like there was, man, what a great game. Did you play Dying Light?
But I didn't think it was that old. Is it that old?
It's
15?
It was pretty old.
I remember you guys talking about that Mario level.
I'm actually
and I
gonna
feel
look
like
it up
that
while
was
we-
only a couple
we
years
talk about
ago.
It's pretty great, man. That whole game was good. Even the DLC was interesting. Like,
Yeah, I never picked that one up. But
So Dying Light 2 had a lot of. Did come out in 2015. Nailed it.
nice.
that does want me to. I do want to bring up real quick though. One of my least favorite things that video games do, are whenever they create open worlds with cars, but only after they didn't have an open world with cars. So you go to like the expansive world and it feels like it's super empty because you're so used to like having everything going on at once. And because they wanted you to be able to drive and like show this big map off, they give you a car and nothing to do.
Yeah.
That was
Empty
kind
world,
of
yeah.
the same thing with things like Mad Max and stuff, which I actually thought wasn't bad. It was like a very B game, but similar where it's like you just have this big like.
Yeah, that's like my only gripe about Dying Light. Everything else
Yeah.
about that game is great.
And see, I don't even think I played it with the car for
No.
that expansion.
Dying Light is same company as Dead Island, correct?
Yes, I think there was some drama there. I think you're right. It was Techland, right? I believe
I
is
don't
the
remember.
company.
But
me
all I
see.
remember
Yeah,
is
Techland.
I remember playing Dead Island with you guys too, and that was like Eaton Park after midnight launch days.
Yeah. Dead Island.
did play
was-
Dead Island.
Was rough. Dying Light was kind of like what Dead Island should
Should
have
have
been.
been.
Yeah. But anyway, the sequel, so Dead Light 2, slated for December 7th. So that's something. They were yet another studio hit with a bunch of misconduct, and they lost, I think, their writer over it and stuff like that. Not lost isn't like a bad, like they fired their writer.
Right.
They cut ties to him.
Is that coming out on everything?
Should be coming out on everything, yeah. I think it is cross-gen, I believe. So I think it's going to be PS4 and Xbox One still, too.
Nice.
I don't know how it's going to run, but we'll see.
Yeah, those are interesting to me, how they do those, because you're definitely sacrificing at that point, right?
Well, and that's kind of the last story we have is they just announced, Sony did, that not only God of War will be cross-gen, so now people are up in arms about that,
no.
but it also got pushed to 2022. Again, not really surprising anyone. Like, there was never a thought in my mind that God of War was coming out this year, especially
The cross
if-
gen surprises me though.
That is a little surprising, especially because this is going to be like the first time Sony's really done that. Like, so if you're talking like first party games, I can't think of another first party game that Sony put out that was cross gen at launch like that.
That makes me feel that they're not confident in PS5 circulation.
Well, exactly,
right?
And that's another.
Even though
reason
they're
why-
saying that, like, oh, you'll get your hands on, like, that to me is a dead giveaway. Like,
right.
they don't think so.
Well, like why do you need a PS5 right now? Like what does PS5 have
Right,
that,
right.
that PS4 doesn't? You know what I mean?
Right,
So
yeah.
like that's kind of where that is. So again, if Horizon comes out, so Horizon put out a 14-minute gameplay trailer, which was pretty good. It looked good. Like it very much looked like Horizon, which you haven't played yet, but
it's in
definitely need to.
on my list, yeah.
I think the funny thing with that is then they all Far Cry 6 came out. They put that out. Didn't look that great. It looked very like last gen. Honestly,
Dude,
Dying
I
Light
love
looked
the
last gen.
old Far Cry games too. That's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, like
We'll
I'm
have
not
to see,
saying
yeah.
it won't be fun. I'm just saying graphically, when you see something like a Horizon,
Yeah,
man, it is rough
well,
to.
Far
to
Cry
follow that.
was always at the front of the game, right?
Yeah.
In terms of looks, that
Yep.
was a big appeal to me. Like it always looked so beautiful. So we'll have to see, but
We'll
yeah.
see. I know they did announce, and I didn't read too much into this because I'm, but it's always Far Cry puts out, or like Ubisoft puts out a game, and they're like, oh, we're not making a political statement. Well, this time they actually said like, oh, Far Cry 6, we are making a political statement. That's all I read about it. I think that's ballsy for the developer to come out and say like, yep, we're
Yikes.
making a political statement. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean that's really all I got. That's what happened in the past 2 weeks of news. We did catch on the fact that like a lot of people are getting sued left and right. So Steam just had to pay out $4 million for their controller patent.
It's a good time to be a lawyer, man.
Scuff Gaming with those controllers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that actually is who owned the patent to the Steam
Oh,
controller.
really?
So they had to pay out some money.
Damn.
Yeah.
You said $4 million?
4.2 million
That's not much for them, right?
It's probably only 4.2 million because they realized how much Steam saved them by putting it out first.
Yeah.
I mean, Steam was selling those controllers for like $1 a piece. So,
Because Scuf is a pretty well-known,
fairly high end, yeah.
And it's it's like a brand that is associated with like quality.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it makes sense.
Did you know that they paid $7.8 billion for Bethesda? Microsoft did.
That seems like
I was
a
looking
reach.
this stuff up, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
How expensive that is.
7.8 bill
7.8. Let me see. I think it's 7.8. Maybe 7.2. Let me check.
with
The
with
fact
the
that it's-
reputation they have now.
This is the
That's
fact that it's
rough.
7 billion is 7.5 billion to acquire Bethesda. Now, granted, keeping in mind they get Starfield, they get Elder Scrolls,
Oh yeah,
they get
actually,
all
you
that
know,
stuff, and if it's exclusive, so the whole thing with that, and like people were getting up in arms about it because they bought. It's similar to how they bought like Minecraft and they put it on everything.
yeah,
So now people are like, well, wait, why can't Starfield be on everything and stuff like that? But like the argument is like, look, you paid almost $7.5 billion. Like
you need something.
you need
yes,
to sell shit.
yes,
Yeah,
you need to sell consoles. You need, yeah, definitely that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think E3 is going to be very interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see how COVID's hit everything, to see the timeline shift, to see what's actually coming out this. Because right now there's like nothing, right?
It's pretty barren right now. It
Like
seems
you have some Pokemon games coming out in November, which are just remakes of Diamond and Pearl, which
Yep.
great. Pokemon Snap hit and then just kind of went and gone. I don't know, but anyway, that's all I got. That's the news. Do we want to talk about anything? Oh wait, Nate's gonna hit something. Okay, that's a longer track than I would have gone for, but sure. Anyway, you want to take us out, John? In the most official way possible. I know we always just kind of like fade out of this stuff, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, we appreciate you watching. Yeah, we'll be E3's next week. So when does it start? Saturday, Friday?
I believe it starts Sunday. Actually, I think it starts
Starts
off
Sunday?
I
No
think
way.
so. It might be Saturday for something like a Ubisoft conference, but we can double check.
Yeah, I guess then we'll probably get this out before that starts. So I guess maybe we'll talk about some expectations or thoughts about that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Try it out.
But yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Peace.